Nikhil ji?
Yes, sir.
RCS Manipur and Honorable Minister Manipur is linking, but the photo is not coming. They are informing.
Okay, sir.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Unmute.
I think it is time we can start, Mukesh ji.
Sir. So may I start now, sir?
Yes, please. I think it is 11 already.
Is it audible, sir?
Please start. Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Namaskar. I am Mukesh Kumar, an anchor of this webinar. I am I work as Executive Director in National Cooperative Development Corporation. Today, National Workshop on Entrepreneurship Development through Duck Farming is being organized by NCDC in partnership with Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, ICAR, Government of Bihar, Government of Goa, Government of Kerala, and Government of Manipur. On behalf of NCDC and other partners, I warmly welcome all participants.
Hello.
I welcome respected moderator Dr. B.K. Saxena, ADG ICR,
आप लॉगिन कर लिया हो ना?
forward the proceedings.
Okay. Okay. You can see me, no? Okay.
Dr. B.K. Saxena, please.
Dr. Saxena, you are not audible. Please switch on you are on mute. Please
Okay.
unmute and start speaking.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mukesh ji. And it's a great initiative taken by NCDC in collaboration with other partners. And as we know, duck are rather not given much attention as compared to chicken in the country. So it is the first kind of its initiative taken across the country, so as all the stakeholders may join together and share this common platform for sharing their views and interact for upliftment of the duck research and production aspects. So with this, I welcome all the participants, especially Sudeep Nayak ji, for taking this initiative. It is the main key person behind all these activities. And also I welcome Dr. B.N. Tripathi, Deputy DG, Animal Sciences from ICAR, and all my scientist colleagues and bureaucrats who are participating in this meeting. And we think that we can deliver in the end of this meeting so that we can give a momentum to this duck farming entrepreneurship and also give momentum and direction to the duck research in the country. So with this, now I again request Mukesh ji to please invite Dr. Sudeep Nayak ji and Dr. B.N. Tripathi. Mukesh Kumar.
And now I would request to the Managing Director, National Cooperative Development Corporation, Shri Sandeep Kumar Naik sir, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Namaskar. Honorable Minister Srimati Nimcha Kipgenji, Nagendranath Secretary.
वहां हो गया उधर करो
I think please do not cross talk. Please switch on
एक मिनट
mic so that
इसको छोड़ देना मैं दो
हाँ यहाँ सब
संदीप जी सबको म्यूट करा दीजिए एवरीबॉडी शुड बी ऑन म्यूट
Nikhil, please
Yes, sir.
mute everybody.
म्यूट एवरीबॉडी एक्सेप्ट स्पीकर
Sri Nagendranath Sinhaji, the Secretary to Government of India, Rural Development Ministry, Dr. B.N. Tripathi ji, DDG Animal Sciences of ICAR, Government of India, other dignitaries, other scientists, the farmers, all stakeholders in this very important national workshop on entrepreneurship development through duck farming. I must at the outset express on behalf of NCDC our deepest gratitude to Sri Nagendranath Sinhaji. Actually, the original idea of entrepreneurship development in duck farming is his. He inspired us to work in the area of duck farming as a vibrant economic activity for our people. And I am thankful to you, Mr. Sinha, that you gave a new direction, new orientation, and also highlighted the importance of duck farming, which has resulted in this important national workshop during very trying times. But from NCDC side, we are committed to carry it forward. I would also like to mention here that we are really thankful to our partners, the government of Goa, government of Bihar, government of Kerala and government of Manipur. Honorable Minister herself is very keen to take it forward in her state in Manipur. Sri C.R. Garg ji from government of Goa has lot of ideas how they want to translate all these ideas into action. Ms. Bandana Priyasi from government of Bihar secretary, and Ms. Tinku Bitswal secretary from government of Kerala, they are present here. There are other state governments which have very wholeheartedly participated, particularly West Bengal Additional Chief Secretary Dr. M.B. Rao, and from states like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, government of Odisha, they are very keen in this regard. So far, this you can see on your screen that around 220 odd people are participating. It is also being live streamed. Total registration till today morning were around 423. So we hope that this has generated a lot of interest, and with the partnership of all the institutions, the scientists, the rural development ministry who are present in every village in this country, and NCDC and the state governments, we would like to do our best bit for the duck farmers and mainstreaming the duck farming in this country. I would close now. I'll request our colleague Sri C.R. Garg, Secretary in the Government of Goa, to speak.
Thank you very much, sir. A very good morning to all the participants in this workshop on entrepreneurship development through duck farming. First of all, I express my gratitude to Shri Sandeep Kumar Naik ji, MD NCDC, for giving us an opportunity to all the stakeholders from state of Goa to participate in this national workshop. Sir, as far as Goa is concerned, being in tropical zone, its climate is very suitable for duck farming. There are some farmers who are already rearing the ducks, but it is on a very small scale, maybe in their backyard. They are doing it. All are aware, Goa is an international tourist destination. So there can be huge demand for duck eggs as well as duck meat. Even during non-fishing season and Christmas, duck meat is in demand. So ducks can also be part of the popular dish of Goa. Now it is fish curry. It can be rice, duck and fish. I think let the experts discuss on it, and it can give rise to more demand in the state of Goa. Now, in Goa, the main economic activities were mining and tourism. With the closing of mining, more and more people are coming to agriculture and allied activities. So duck farming can be an excellent opportunity for the farmers as an alternative business proposition to increase their income, particularly through cooperative sector. At present, we are having 16 farming cooperative societies in the state and 2 poultry cooperative societies. Duck farming can be promoted through these societies, and more farmers can be motivated to come in this sector. But there are some challenges also, sir. The high cost of labor and high cost of feed is a main challenge for the duck farming farmers in Goa. I would request Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India and NCDC to come up with some innovative schemes so as to overcome this challenge. Let me inform the House, at present, it is cheaper to bring in the poultry from the neighboring states rather than rearing it in state of Goa because of this high cost of labor as well as high cost of the feed. If the farmer is given proper direction and proper schemes are formulated so as to help him in reduce these costs, or they are provided with some subsidy, I think Goa can I think Goa can be one of the leading states in duck farming. With this, I close here. Thank you again, the NCDC and the organizers, for giving us opportunity to put our views on duck farming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Over to you, Mukesh Kumar ji.
Yeah, Sri Garg, thank you very much. I'll check if Miss Bandana Prayasi, are you there? Thank you, Mr. Garg again. I'll request Ms. Tinku Biswal, Secretary Animal Husbandry in Government of Kerala. She is very enthusiastic about the prospect of giving a bigger boost to duck farming in her state, in Kerala. She has a very dedicated team of officers. I request Ms. Tinku Biswal to deliver her talk.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. And at the outset, thank you for taking the initiative. And for us, for me especially, this has been I am again reconnecting with my mentor from my probation days or my days during Masuri when Mr. Naik was the deputy director for us. Thank you for this workshop. As you rightly pointed out, sir, Kerala has, the reason I am enthusiastic about duck farming is because Kerala already has a very a long history of enterprise in duck farming. It's a traditional enterprise which has been associated with paddy cultivation. And so what has happened in the past is that our farmers used to rear ducks along with paddy. In the harvested paddy fields, because that became essentially there was adequate fallen grain to feed as feed for the ducks. So there was a time when they would be rearing about 5,000 to 10,000 birds at a time, and around 70 to 80 days of age, the surplus male stock would be removed, separated and sold, and the female stock would be matured for egg laying as layers. And so that is how it used to, traditionally, that is the farming practice that was adopted. And given a huge network of inland water resources and backwaters, that became, that is the area where traditionally duck farming has been practiced. Now, we have had a history also of groups associated with the group, there would be a champion farmer and a champion group leader who would support these farmers right from the start, from procuring ducklings and giving ducklings to the farmers for backyard production and for production in the farms, right up to sales and marketing, and including transportation of birds to other states, migratory states, when the feed in Kerala would fall short when after the cultivation. And we have also had a huge demand for both the eggs and the meat. The entire finances would obviously be met by these group leaders. over a course of time. Now, as a matter of fact, by 2005, we had several, and they went on expanding and adopting technology as the demand for duck meat and duck eggs grew. By 1986, they were incubating eggs with machines and starting supply over a much larger number. By 2005, we had 8 such units. And in the Culinary area alone, Culinary is the area where Alleppey, Kottayam, Pathanamthitta. Now, this is the area where duck farming has been massive. And we were producing about 35 lakh ducklings in a year. Of course, the focus was on our tradition breeds called the Kuttanadan Chara and the Kuttanadan Chembali. And these were obviously on a free range system. We never used to go for feed. Now, what I'd like, but the demand was so huge, that is commercial feed, but the demand was so huge that we could not meet the demand only with our traditional breeds of Kuttanadan Chara and Chembali. So we moved also towards broiler breeds of Vietnam, the Vigova Super M, which would achieve about 2.5 kilos in 7 weeks. Now, even with all of that, as I would be concluding towards the end of my address, it would become very clear that we are still a way off from, internally we are way off from meeting the demand. There is a huge demand for duck meat and duck eggs. For whatever reasons, people attribute medicinal qualities to both the meat and the eggs. Whatever be the reason, there is a huge demand. And so this is one place where we could, where Kerala would like to give a boost and further boost. As a matter of fact, I would like to use this opportunity also to highlight that the state government is now moving towards, is now launching the Subhiksha Keralam project, which looks at attaining food security in all respects, especially in the wake of the pandemic, when we had our supply chains being disrupted for a few days until it was restored. We realized that there was a need for us to improve our supplies within our production capacities within the state. And so this includes not just agriculture, but also all areas of meat and milk and egg production. And we are looking at, because, and we have and another problem of our the NRIs coming back from the Gulf. And it is unlikely that many of them would be going back anytime in the near future. So there is also an issue of income generation. So, and this is one area we feel that could be taken up by entrepreneurs on a large scale. And not just entrepreneurs, we are also, as a matter of fact, the state has plans of using our Kudumbashri women self-help groups for, and we have been using them in the past also. We have for backyard poultry development, whether it was chicken or eggs, but or chicken or ducks. And as a matter of fact, there is a much higher demand for ducks than there is for chicken, in the sense that it is much more remunerative, much more profitable, whereas chicken sells for about 180 kilos, 180 rupees per kilo. Duck meat over here sells for around 350 rupees per kilo. And the price of the eggs is almost double the price of chicken eggs. As of as a matter of fact, our duck population, the demand has been so high that the duck population also has been growing at the rate of 50% between 2007 and 2012, and at the rate of between 2003 and 2007, and between at 70% between 2007 and 2012. As of now, in the last 5 years, it has grown by an abysmal 5%, and this is, or rather 3.96%, which is more, which is not a reflection of the lack of demand. It is more a reflection of the kind of vagaries that this sector is open to. And we were hit by bird flu. We were hit by 2 consecutive floods, as a result of which the duck population has gone down drastically over the last during the last 5-year period. However, we do have a huge interest in this with several large farmers, and I'm talking about layers, that is ducks, the brood stock and layers. There are large farmers with flocks of up to 10,000 to 15,000, and they can actually start rearing up to 20 to 30,000 in 2 or 3 batches. Medium, there are about 10 such farmers. We have 70 about odd medium farmers with flocks of layers from 5,000, and small farmers there are around 1,500 to 5,000 flocks of layers. And then of course we have our entire network across the 14 districts of the backyard farmers, which are essentially women's self-help groups. Now, these groups are something that we would like to organize better from the perspective of marketing, to ensure that they have assured markets. Already there is a demand, so I don't see assured markets being a problem. But there is another issue that I foresee. And that is essentially insurance. And because these, as I had discussed with you earlier, sir, and I'd like the rest of the participants here also to mull over it. And this is a policy issue that we would like to, Government of India also to put their to help us out with. And this is regarding insurance against any kind of calamities that we face. And insurance companies are unwilling to come forward to insure against any bird flu or any other natural calamity that hits the sector. And that is primarily because this is a migratory, birds are migratory, and they are not confined to a space. Of course, backyard farming is different, but when you're talking of entrepreneurship and larger farmers, they would use our extensive network of the inland waterways for rearing of these ducks. And so confining them to a space is an issue that we have. But unless we address that, we are not going to have, there will be hesitation because when a farmer takes a hit, when an entrepreneur takes a hit, there is some way that we need to compensate them. The government has programs, major programs in mind to take up duck farming. We are looking at, as a matter of fact, expanding our backyard poultry farming by increasing the number of such groups by at least 30,000 this year. We are encouraging broiler farming in the state. We would like to, there is a lot of investment that we would require, both and support from Government of India for our self-help groups, whether through the National Livelihood Mission or through any other program where we support our self-help groups for farming in the sector. We would require NCDC to come in and support us with institutional finance for setting up of new farms. We would, for instance, the Culinary indigenous breed, which is supposed to be much more hardy as compared to the other breeds that are in the market, and which is also a much more remunerative in terms of taking care of the growth of the breed. Now we would like another. We have one such farm at Niranam, and that is one area which you have highlighted, and very rightly so, is the limited availability of germplasm. So we are looking at expanding that. We are looking at having another unit to be set up in one of the northern districts, so that we are not the Niranam duck farm was actually hit badly during the floods of 2018 and 19, and therefore we are looking at having an alternative farm for raising of our brooders in another area away from Kutanad. Then we would also require some marketing support in terms of setting out for instance, for these local groups that are there. I'm not just talking about entrepreneurs, but also our self-help groups to access marketing units, localized marketing units that would really help. And so these are the areas that I would like to highlight during this webinar. I especially would like to bring this to the attention of both NCDC and Secretary Rural Development, Government of India, because that is where we look forward to some support, especially in the times of the pandemic when the fiscal situation of the state is under strain. And we are looking at expanding production and enhancing productivity. This is the only area that we can help. We would require a lot of support from from Government of India. I would end with that. Thank you for giving me the time and the opportunity to speak here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tinku Biswal. I would also mention here that the FAO resident chief for India, Mr. Tomio Suchiri, he has just sent me a message that he is participating through YouTube link. Now, thank you, Mr. Tomio Suchiri from FAO joining in. Now, I'll request Dr. B.N. Tripathi, DDG Animal Sciences, the entire duck related issues, the scientific backup is with him. He is also very enthusiastically participating from the very beginning when we conceived this idea. Dr. Tripathi, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Sandeep ji. Hope I am audible to all of you. Am I audible?
You are audible, please.
Thank you. Very, very good morning. And Her Excellency, Honorable Minister of Cooperative Investment, Government of Manipur, Mr. Nemta Kipjan, and Honorable Sri N.N. Sinhaji, Secretary Rural Development, Government of India, and Sudeep ji, MD NCDC, and secretaries from different states like Goa, the C.R. Gargi, and then Ms. Tinku Biswal from Kerala. She has just finished and given a lot of the status of Kerala and what is happening there. A lot of demand also. They are always relevant also to develop entrepreneurship and development in the country. And then my colleague from ISA headquarters, Dr. Vishesh, the Assistant Director General, and all scientists were going to present, Dr. Giri, Dr. Nayak, Ms. Mandvi, and moderator and anchor Mr. Mukesh Kumar, and entrepreneurs from different states, and representative from Chef Association, and all officers from NCDC, Environment Ministry, and FAO, and also ICR, and scientists from our Bhubaneswar campus and CRI Ajatnagar. Very good morning, and again welcome to National Workshop on Entrepreneurship Development through Duck Farming. It's relevant, quite relevant. But to say that it is not late yet. For last 4 or 5 decades, when poultry industry has gone up like anything, and agree still we are going for the conventional breeding, all conventional farming system is prevalent in the country. And in spite of the fact that it has got a better nutritive value, better production, better demands, as has been stated by secretaries from different states, but still, why it has not been able to develop it? So I congratulate really NCDC, especially Mr. Sandeep ji, that he has taken a very relevant topic for the workshop. And then the brainstorming, where more than about 250 people online and others are also registered. And they are listening to this and taking workshop from Ministry of Rural Development, from different state government, ICR, and NCDC, all relevant people who really matter for the development of duck farming in the country are here. And therefore, this is very important. And an issue that comes out of this will really pave the way for NCDC to plan his work for development. Friends, duck is really an important fowl, waterfowl. Other like bees and other quail, etc. And but it's a population, the great demand. If you could see demand from 2012 to 2019, we have got about 42% rise in the population of duck. So it means that demand is there. And if demand is there, then why we have not able to develop? Is only contributing around 0.89% of total reproduction in the country from indigenous ducks, and from improved ducks only 0.26%. So still our contribution, ducks contribution in the poultry is very less. In spite of the fact that we have got a very favorable ecosystem, very favorable climate condition in the country, having a large coastline, having a substantial inland water body, and limited investment. For limited investment, we can have better return. And it is also contributing to food security, and specifically nutrition security, poverty alleviation, and ecologically sound ecosystem. And it also helps in doubling of farmers' income. And very
Dr. Tripathi, could you bring your mic closer, because at times we are unable to hear you.
Okay. So I'll bring my desktop more here to me. Okay, now a bit audible. So this is, in spite of all this, having a very good nutritional value of having a more fat, all essential amino acids and minerals and vitamins, and even when it has not gone, type of development that our poultry or chicken have got it. There's no industrialization, no commercialization, no modernization. So through this workshop, we are really going to analyze the status of duck farming in the country, what we have with us, and we have to do our SWOT analysis, what strength we have, what is our weakness, what opportunity we have got, what threats there. And if we analyze our duck farming situation in the country, perhaps that will be better. And our chief scientists who are going to present on technical presentation, that they perhaps deal with all the issues in the country. And where are we going to intervene? Our scientific intervention is very important, except for a few breeds. I'm not going to enumerate, because the time is very less. I'm not going to enumerate all those breeds. But we have got some two exotic breeds, that is a Coffee Campbell and Pekin, one is a layer, and the meat breed. So, but in addition to that, we have got a lot many indigenous breeds, and they are also quite resistant, and people like it. And in spite of all these, backyard poultry has really improved. Has developed more than 45% of our last census in 2012. Similarly, case with the duck also. People like to have meat and eggs from the indigenous duck rather than get it. So therefore, scientific intervention is very important. We have to go for the breed improvement, variety coming up with the local breeds who are more resistant, more sustainable in the farm, and that part is being done out by ICR Institute at Bhubaneswar campus. They have been doing in the breed improvement as well. We also try to develop this duck through our All India Partner Research Project, and we have taken certain centers for duck improvement program, and also developed more technology. They have also developed model. They also developed model for integrated farming also, how duck and fish farming can go, and what benefit you can take, and what the economics of integrated farming. So that is important, and that we have been doing it. Farmers do not normally know that, because due to continuous inbreeding of indigenous flock, their egg production is not more than 150 eggs per year. Therefore, scientific intervention is required, where they have to exchange their male from other farmers, so that inbreeding problem can be solved. So when we come to the feeding and nutrition requirement, about 60 to 70% of rearing cost goes to nutrition and feeding. And therefore, our scientists will have to, especially the challenge before the scientists of ICR and other universities, that they have to find economic model for nutritional. They have to use the local resources so that their nutritional requirement can be met with the locally available food, and that food can be economized further. And for that, we have to develop a nutritional requirement of all type of layer or broiler or different age bird, and then housing and management, standard operating procedures. And we have to develop a low housing system for duck, so that farmers can do it in their poultry, in their backyard, without investing much. So that is important, and perhaps on model development, housing development, cheap housing development is being done at our Bhubaneswar campus, and this would do it further, intensify it, and also popularize it among the farmers. Now, another important issue is that our in which system we are going to have it, whether we can go to very intensive system, or we are going to rear duck in a semi-intensive system or an extensive system. And these are very important. And for that, we should have a model for them. Our exceptional functionaries, our technical people, they just really come out with a very clear-cut standard operating procedure and also protocols and very simple terms, as simple local language, so that farmers of different states like Kerala, like Goa, like Manipur, and then in Bihar and other states, they can follow it and do it. Healthcare is always a problem. It is okay that ducks, Indians, especially Indian ducks, are very quite resistant to diseases. They're quite resistant to diseases. But even then, it is not that disease does occur in them. Almost all the diseases occur in poultry, especially duck viral enteritis, duck viral hepatitis, duck cholera, and all nutritional deficiency diseases, and especially one of the aflatoxicosis. These are very important, and the duck is very sensitive to it. And therefore, while by providing nutrition, we have to take care that it should not be intoxicated with the aflatoxin, and we have to deworm the birds. We have to go for a different vaccination schedule. So the farmers should not. One of the secretary also pointed out was insurance. We don't have insurance for that. So that is another policy intervention that has to be taken care of by NCDC. Now, having said that how we are going to develop it? This is all scientific intervention that is required, and scientists must provide this. But how to organize this? Because we don't have a cooperative system. And other day I was talking to Sandeep, he was saying that they are going to develop self-help group and cooperatives and supply chain. How to ensure that farmer will not need to travel far long. We have to develop such a system that our farmers all supply reaches to his door also, and whatever he's producing, egg or meat, that can be a system for collection, so that he has not to travel much. So that supply and the models are available in chickens in MP and many other states where they have developed with the commercial chicken. So similar model which has self-help group or cooperative development or society, we can develop. And it has been very nicely depicted by Secretary Kerala that they have got certain model also, cooperative model, society and self-help group. So those people can help us. And then institutional financial mechanism, that is also not there. And that is one reason also why the tech development has not been there. So I think NCDC, with a very close cooperation from Rural Development Ministry, they can address these issues, and that would really help us. Now there are many challenges, and those challenges which has been, I enumerated some of them, that technical inputs. From where the farmers will get ducklings, superior germ plant. From where they will get it, from where they will get the credit, the financial support, from where they will get feed. So all these issues would be taken care of for the proper development of duck industry in the country. And I tell you, this is better than chicken. It will really one of the very good resources for the poor farmers, for small and marginal farmers, and we can double their income also. So friends, I think I've taken enough time just to flag some of the issues, and I'm really thankful to Mr. Sandeep ji for having given this opportunity to me to interact with you, such a large group of people who really matters in the tech entrepreneurship development. And this exercise will continue. Training module has to be developed by our scientists and CRI or those institutions where they're working on ducks, so that a concerted effort throughout the country can be made to train our farmers. Extension functionaries have to go to farmers and tell them how technical input can get them better productivity from their ducks. With this, thank you very much, and all the audiences and all the organizers for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tripathi. Now I'll request Honorable Minister for Cooperation, Animal Husbandry, Government of Manipur, Srimati Nimcha Kipgen. She has been very enthusiastic on this effort from the very beginning, and she herself personally takes interest in finding out what is going on in the workshop, how it will carry it forward. Ma'am Nimcha Kipgen, please speak. Deliver your inaugural address.
Good morning, everyone. Sri N.N. Sinha, Secretary, Ministry of Development, Government of India, Sri Sandeep Kumar Nair, MD, NCDC, Dr. B.N. Tripathi, DDG, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Ms. Bandana Priyasi, Secretary, Corporate Bihar, Sri C.R. Garg, Secretary, Corporation Goa, Ms. Tinku Biswar, Secretary, AH, Kerala, Dr. Sunil Giri, Principal Scientist, General Avian Research Institute, ICAR, and all the participants who are attending this workshop from different parts of the country. I am extremely happy to inaugurate the National Workshop on Entrepreneurship Development through Duck Farming, jointly organized by NCDC, the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, ICAR, Government of India, Government of Kerala, Government of Bihar, Government of Goa, and Government of Manipur. I welcome you all to this important workshop. Duck farming is fast becoming an effective tool for socio-economic upliftment of people engaged in poultry farming. It is a very good income generating occupation. This can be read by marginal farmers and women farmers. Duck farming is profitable and simple in management. Despite all these advantages, we are yet to see its full potential when it comes to duck farming in the country, as only 10% of the total poultry population is engaged in duck farming. In my state, Manipur, duck meat is one of the popular delicacies. It has good potential for growth in the state. There are few cooperative societies who are engaged in duck farming in the state. With the arrangement of much needed technical and financial support, duck farming can become a good income generating occupation in poultry sector. This workshop is a significant step towards popularizing duck farming as an effective means for increasing the farmers' income, thereby improving their livelihood. This platform serves the good purpose for motivating, guiding, and enhancing knowledge of those who are engaged in integrated farming system or backyard duck rearing in collective modes such as federated self-help groups or cooperatives for doubling farmers' income. I firmly believe that all the participants will be greatly benefited from this workshop. It's a fact that entrepreneurship development is need of the hour for socio-economic growth of these duck farming self-help groups or cooperatives. It is pertinent to mention here that this initiative is in the right direction in all endeavor to achieve the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat. We all are indeed fortunate to get the opportunity to contribute our might to the collective effort of achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat under the able leadership and guidance of Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji. Taking this opportunity, I extend my sincere thanks to NCDC for sanctioning AMI, that is Agriculture Marketing Infrastructure project, and approving pisciculture project in 4 districts, namely Imphal East, Imphal West, Kakching, and Bishnupur, as well as Pigri project in Kangpopi district. It will be of great help to see food processing units coming up in much larger scale in Manipur with the assistance from NCDC in near future. We look forward to sustain support from NCDC in other activities relating to cooperative sector in the state. In the end, I congratulate all the joint organizers for this timely and well-organized initiative. Wish you all fruitful deliberations during this workshop. Thank you all. It has been a pleasure. Good day. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Madam Nemchak Yevgenji. I am really thankful on behalf of the organizers. Your government is also a partner. Thank you for your inspiring talk. Now I'll request Sri Nagendra Nath Sinha ji, Secretary to Government of India, Rural Development. हम लोग इस वर्कशॉप में लॉट ऑफ पीपल ऑन यूट्यूब और इसमें भी जो वेबिनार में डायरेक्टली सेमिनार में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं एज अटेंडीज, उन लोगों का रिक्वेस्ट ये भी है कि कुछ चीज़ें हिंदी में बताया जाए. I'll request Sri Nagendra Sinha ji also, if he can try to be bilingual, English as well as Hindi. It will really help our audience who are on the YouTube live as well as on the Sri Sinha ji. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद संदीप जी, मैडम निमचा किपजेन जी, डॉक्टर बीएन त्रिपाठी जी, श्रीमती टिंकू बिस्वाल जी, श्री सीआर गर्ग जी, इस वेबिनार में उपस्थित सभी साइंटिस्टगण, सभी एंटरप्रेन्योर गण, सभी पार्टिसिपेंट और जिनकी संख्या लगातार बढ़ती जा रही है, तो आप सब लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार. सबसे पहले तो मैं कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना चाहूँगा श्री संदीप नायक जी के प्रति, जिन्होंने एक हम लोगों की ऐसी ही एक चर्चा चल रही थी जिसमें मैंने डक फार्मिंग के बारे में अपने विचार व्यक्त किए थे और उसको इन्होंने एक वेबिनार में कन्वर्ट कर दिया, जहाँ पे 400 से ज़्यादा लोग इकट्ठा हुए हैं. 250 लोग तो सीधे वेबिनार में जुड़े हुए हैं, यूट्यूब पे भी काफ़ी बड़ी संख्या में जुड़े हुए हैं. और एक ऐसा ओकेजन है जिसमें कि जो ट्रेडिशनली काम यहाँ होता आ रहा है उसको हम एक इंटरप्राइज के रूप में बदलने पे आज विचार कर रहे हैं. और खुशी की बात यह है कि ये लगता है पहली बार एक लार्ज स्केल इस तरह की कंसल्टेशन हो रही है, और इससे हमारी मिनिस्ट्री को भी और जो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एनिमल हस्बेंड्री एंड डेयरी है और उनकी जो मिनिस्ट्री है, इनको भी और पूरे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को और सभी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को और सभी जो इस इकोसिस्टम में लोग जुड़े हैं, सभी को बहुत ही ज्यादा बढ़ावा मिलेगा. तो मैं आपके प्रति अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं, और मैं अगर मुझे ये हक है तो मैं गरीब किसानों की ओर से नायक जी के प्रति अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं, जिनके गरीबी हटाने की दिशा में ये एक अच्छा कदम हो सकता है. तो मैं आपके प्रति अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना चाहता हूँ. सबसे पहली बात जो हमें ये समझने की जरूरत है कि ये जो डक फार्मिंग है ये बहुत ही आसान है, इनको रियर करना बहुत आसान है. बाकी की रियरिंग जब आप करते हैं तो काफी टेक्निकल है और काफी उनको केयर करना पड़ता है, बहुत ज्यादा खर्च करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि आपको शेड्स बनानी पड़ेंगी, उनकी फीडिंग सिस्टम्स करनी पड़ेगी, उनकी मेडिकल केयर काफी करनी पड़ती है, और अदरवाइज भी काफी कॉस्टली, काफी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग टेक्निकल है. इसके तुलना में जो डक फार्मिंग है वो काफी आसान है. एक अभी जो इसके पहले मैं एक अध्ययन कर रहा था इस सेमिनार में आप लोगों के साथ बातचीत करने के लिए, उसमें ये मुझे बताया कि अगर हम डक्स को बत्तखों को अच्छी तरीके से ट्रेन कर दें तो जो उनकी एग लेइंग साइकिल्स होती हैं वो 24 घंटे की होती है. अगर आप पोल्ट्री में ये देखिएगा लेयर बर्ड्स, उनकी 26 घंटे की साइकिल होती है. तो until unless you keep them in their pen, it's very likely that if you make them free range birds, most likely they will lay their eggs somewhere from where you will find it extremely difficult to locate their legs. Whereas if you train your ducks well, it is possible that they will lay their eggs between 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then they can release them from their pens and then they can go out grazing. So for the free-ranging birds, and free-ranging birds, as you would be very well aware, fetch much higher price in the market. So it's a extremely good system for extremely easy to care and fetch good prices, as has been mentioned by several of the speakers who spoke before me. इनके इनके अंडे ज्यादा कीमत पे बिकते हैं, इनके अंडे ज्यादा न्यूट्रिशियस होते हैं क्योंकि उसमें पानी की मात्रा कम होती है। उसकी मीट के बारे में आपने बताया कि वो ज्यादा 350 रुपया प्रति किलो बिक रहा है, जबकि पोल्ट्री अगर लेंगे तो वो 180 रुपया प्रति किलो बिक रहा है। तो प्राइसेस में भी बहुत डिफरेंस है। अब जो मेरे लिए एक सबसे अच्छी बात है वो ये है कि आप इसको इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम्स में कर सकते हैं। तो हमारे जो खास के गरीब किसानों पे जो हम जिन पर फोकस ज्यादा हमारा रहता है, ऐसा नहीं कि हम पूरे ग्रामीण क्षेत्र के विकास पे नहीं देख रहे हैं, बट एज ए फोकस हमारा ग्रामीण और गरीब किसानों पे होता है। तो गरीब किसानों में हम जो हमारी अप्रोच होती है वो अप्रोच होती है कि हम मल्टीपल इनकम स्ट्रीम्स पैदा करें। वो फार्मिंग भी करे, वो लाइव स्टॉक रियरिंग भी करे, वो कुछ एनटीएफपी पे भी डिपेंड करे। तो मल्टीपल इनकम स्ट्रीम्स रहने पे किसान की जो इनकम होती है वो ज्यादा रिजिलियंट होती है। एक दूसरा ये है कि integrated, when you employ integrated farming systems, the recyclability of the different inputs and waste material becomes easy, and therefore it's far more paying and it's far more economically efficient than when you utilize these as separate activities. So it's very ideally suited for integrated farming systems, particularly when you take up fish rearing and the duck farming together in ponds, or you take up say paddy cultivation and the duck farming together. In some of the areas you don't require to actually have very huge ponds where ducks can need to swim. In fact, the only technical requirement that you have is that they need to immerse their body up to their eyes, because their eyelids develop scales if they are unable to wet. So it's very easy to create such water bodies. And if I recall my experience of Jharkhand, several of the farmers were able to rear ducks quite easily when they allowed their ducks to immerse themselves in the soak pit that was created for the Swachh Bharat mission. So in all these, from all these considerations, it becomes almost imperative for all of us to promote duck farming. One of the other factoids that came to me was that it's only in the first 4 weeks of hardening of the chicks that you need to feed it with the feeding material, particularly when you are doing a backyard kind of a thing, or you are doing integrated fish farming. So broken rice, rice bran, इस तरह की चीजें, या coconut स्टेम को क्रश करके उसका पाउडर बना दें, वो खा सकता है। तो ये बड़ा ही आसान है। और उसके बाद ये इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग में जब जाते हैं तो बहुत सारे कीड़े, घोंगे और इस तरह की चीजें हैं वो खाते हैं। और इनफैक्ट ये आपको इंटीग्रेटेड पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट के लिए भी बहुत उपयोगी है। So all these considerations makes us look to duck farming as a very important activity to be taken by poor farmers. So let's see how the network and the structure that the NRLM has developed is ideally suited to the duck farming kind of a situation. टिंकू जी ने अभी ये बताया कि उनके यहाँ पे कुटुम्बश्री के माध्यम से इसको टेकअप किया गया है। तो कुटुम्बश्री में सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप है। सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप में सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप जब प्रोडक्शन एक्टिविटीज टेकअप करता है और उनके साथ जो पैरा वर्कर्स जैसे पशु सखी एसोसिएटेड होती हैं, तो ये पशु सखी जो हैं वो इनके लिए जो रूडिमेंट्री हेल्थ केयर की जरूरत होती है, वैक्सीनेशन, डीवर्मिंग, वो आसानी से कर सकती हैं। फीड की जो मैनेजमेंट होती है वो आसानी से कर सकती है। जो इनिशियल पीरियड में 4-6 सप्ताहों के लिए डक चिक्स हार्डनिंग की जरूरत होती है, उसको आसानी से कर सकती है। और उसके बाद जब मार्केटिंग की बात आती है तो मार्केटिंग के लिए भी ये सहयोग दे सकती हैं। प्लस जो NRLM का आर्किटेक्चर है, उस आर्किटेक्चर में प्रोड्यूसर ग्रुप फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के रूप में अपने आप को बैंड कर सकती हैं और उनके माध्यम से जो अंडे उत्पादन हो रहे हैं या जो मीट प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है उसकी बिक्री के लिए भी आसानी से व्यवस्था की जा सकती है। ये व्यवस्था पोल्ट्री कोऑपरेटिव्स ने कई जगह पे की है और मुझे कोई कारण नहीं समझ में आता है कि हम यही काम डक के लिए भी नहीं कर पाए। तो ये आसानी से किया जाने वाला कार्य है। दूसरी बात जो मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि आज के समय में जो फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है उसके प्रमोशन पे बहुत बड़ा जोर दिया गया है। एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री करीब 10,000 फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को डेवलप करने की दिशा में कार्य कर रही है। हर फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की मिनिमम मेंबरशिप प्लेन एरियाज में करीब 300 है और जो आपकी हिली एरियाज है उसमें करीब 100 या 150 करीब रखी गई है। हमारा मानना है कि इससे ज्यादा होना चाहिए। फिर भी फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए जो से के माध्यम से जो सपोर्ट मिल सकता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ इक्विटी कैपिटल, इन टर्म्स ऑफ मार्केटिंग, इन टर्म्स ऑफ support for keeping manpower like accountant or the chief executive officer and several other items of support can come from the agricultural scheme of the farmer producer organization. I was told yesterday by agriculture people in a meeting taken by the PMO that farmer producer organization are also now getting credit guarantee cover from the Ministry of Agriculture. So all these considerations kind of encourage us to band together for increasing the scale of duck farming. One of the again factoids that I came in course of my study into this area is that the cost benefit ratio for a backyard kind of a duck farming was when you took up Khaki Campbell, it was 2.34. Such numbers are almost unbelievable. 2.34 is a huge number, I should say, and even for the Desi varieties, the number was 1.84. Quite unbelievable number, very paying, easy to rear, costlier in terms of or better price fetching. So now, from all these considerations, it's very well established that this is an activity which needs to be taken up, and one in fact feels surprised as to why impetus was not given earlier on these issues. So now we should discuss something as to why it's not growing up. Scientists have spoken and they will deliberate in detail, but one of the issues that is a constraint is you don't have breeding farms. Many parts of the country. Kerala is a fortunate state where this activity has been going on for quite some time, and therefore they have the necessary facilities. But in most parts of the country, the germplasm development as well as the breeding farms are almost non-existent. If I recall my Jharkhand experience, the only place where the duck chicks were bred what Ramkrishna Ashram at Ranchi, and which had a capacity of about 1,500 or 1,000 per batch. So you can very well imagine the amount of spread that can be had from the limited infrastructure that we have. So I think one of the areas in which large number of farmers, entrepreneurs can come is the breeding breeding of the day-old chicks of the ducks. So that's a critical area, and I think I'm sure by this workshop, many such farmers, many such entrepreneurs will develop. The other issue is of the health management, and fortunately, the network of the para worker for the animal husbandry sector that the NRLM has created for its own, name popularly known as Pasu Sakhi, can come handy. And we have around 20,000 number, and we are working with the Agriculture Ministry to enhance their numbers. So, and states themselves can do this for their own departments, and departments' resources can also be employed for para worker development in this regard. So I don't see this as an issue. The other issue which will certainly come is of marketing. How do we market it until unless we have a good marketing chain? Surely the farmers in the villages will be helped by formation of the producer groups and the farmer producer organization. Yet the issue of marketing it among the urban consumers, both of the eggs as well as the meat, will remain. And I think large scale interventions by cooperatives as well as startups and entrepreneurs can go a long way in bridging the marketing gap that we see if we take this activity on a large scale or we seek to industrialize this activity. We would of course be facing these issues of insurance as well as the institutional capital, institutional finance for it. And I think I'll request Sandeep to, when they are drawing up the proceedings of the webinar, also come up with a blueprint for enhancing the duck farming potential in the country and the policy issues that needs to be addressed in this regard. And I assure the support of the Rural Development Ministry that it will put all its authority and weight that it has, particularly in addressing the issues of the smaller farmers, the poorer farmers, the women, for addressing those issues of policy issues which need to be addressed. I think today is a red letter day for the duck farming activity in the country, and I'm sure the deliberation today will go a long way, and the enthusiastic participation of different state governments, government of Manipur, government of Kerala, government of Bihar, and then government of Goa, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, and many other states, and different scientific organizations and the Animal Husbandry Ministry augurs very well for the expansion of this activity, and it augurs very well for the poorer farmers, poor women of the country. I'm sure by synergizing our efforts together and working with firm focus on expansion and popularization of this activity, will certainly be able to realize its fullest potential. Sandeep, thank you again for providing me this opportunity, and because I have realized your potential for taking ideas forward in such comprehensive manner. So we would be bothering you again for many more such ideas. Thank you again. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Sinaji. आपके inspiring address will go a long way in meeting the goals. Now I'll request Ms. Diksha Mandaviji ji, NCDC se, to present her views on the matter. Diksha Mandaviji.
Thanks a lot, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Yeah. A very good afternoon to everyone. Duck farming and duck-based enterprising is seen as a rising and a lucrative livestock industry across the globe. As other panelists have rightly pointed out, it has a great potential in India as well. Today, I will walk you all through how NCDC and Ministry of Rural Development is endeavoring to facilitate this sector and how collectives like cooperative societies and self-help groups can play an important role to take it forward. First of all, a brief introduction to NCDC. National Cooperative Development Corporation was set up in the year 1962 as a development financial institution. It works for development of cooperatives by supporting them in project funding, investment loan, working capital or margin money, as well as project formulation. NCDC has been a very active player in the poultry sector. We have been supporting poultry cooperatives since the year 1974, and we have been providing assistance in many activities such as establishing poultry units, hatcheries, racing units, and providing training for members of cooperative societies. Till date, NCDC has sanctioned 377 projects in the poultry sector and released more than 96.38 crores. If we were to see the statistics in the last 5 years, the total amount sanctioned by NCDC for poultry initiatives is 29.01 crores and the amount released is 13.97 crores. So the question is, why should collectives take up duckery? I have, as seen on the screen, I have tried to enlist many points in favor of why should collectives undertake this this business. Firstly, collectives as a whole, they can avail low interest financing. They can have more collective bargaining power as compared to individuals. They can get group insurance coverage, which is a problem as pointed out by other panelists. Being forming into collective can also ensure vet services and vaccine availability for the drugs. We can also have a greater reach when it comes to training and capacity building. They can form into producer groups as pointed out by Anansina sir, and they can also have a stronger hold on the market where by stronger backward and forward linkages, and hence have a higher growth potential as compared to individuals. Here I have tried to create a value chain of in duck farming. Collectives can enter this value chain depending on their investment size and interest at a single stage or at multiple stage. They can enter as feed manufacturers, or they can enter into the sales of inputs by in feed or medicine. They can also help supply the ducklings by entering the hatchery units or owning brood bags. They can help raise ducks for eggs or meat by undertaking duck farming, or they can strengthen the supply chain by becoming the wholesaler or retailer and then promoting the sales of this product. Financial assistance can be availed at each of the stages by the collectives, by institutions such as NCDC or other financial institutions. Now let us see at the various challenges in duck farm, and we will try to mitigate them or weigh in how NCDC can weigh in one by one. The first challenge is availability of quality germplasm. To mitigate this challenge, the first solution is to increase the availability of quality germplasm with the various poultry research institutes in the country. Providing of duckling of improved genotypes from parent stock farms is a presupposition for higher productivity of quality eggs and meat. The solution proposed here is to increase availability of germplasm and to create a sound supply chain. NCDC can help in provisioning of financial assistance, establishing hatcheries or brood banks, which will help strengthen this supply chain. The next commonly encountered challenge is availability of quality food. It is observed that application of pesticides in agriculture field damages snails, tadpoles, or earthworms, and these are the main protein-rich resources necessary for duck rearing. This problem can be mitigated by increasing extension services to duck farmers, by promoting organic farming practices, and by encouraging integrating farming models. Here, NCDC can help providing financial assistance for setting up duck feed manufacturing plant. It can also assist the collectives who are involved in organic farming and who are undertaking integrated farming practices. The next challenge is finance. It is seen that to meet the operational expenses, duck farmers often rely on private money lenders to meet their expenditures. And CDC has been an instrumental player in supporting the poultry initiatives of collectives in the country. It assists cooperatives or federated SHGs through state-level cooperative federations under direct funding mode or through state governments for setting up small and large-scale duck units. The next challenge, as rightly pointed out by other panelist members, is marketing. To strengthen the marketing channel, firstly, we need to map the current, where the current and potential markets lie. Then we also need to undertake market research to understand what, to get insights of what the customers want to have as far as duck and duck-based products are concerned. Branding of duck-based products and popularizing duck-based cuisines will also help. NCDC here can provide support for infrastructure development such as packaging, processing units, and cold storage. And this will help strengthen the marketing channels. Avian diseases and commercializations are also commonly encountered challenges by duckling entrepreneurs. Here, better management practices, increased access to veterinary support, and usage of technology can help to combat with these problems. Here we have tried to devise a model on this slide, as you can see, to strengthen the duck-based entrepreneurship ecosystem in the country. It is proposed that NCDC, in conjunction with Ministry of Rural Development, will provide a strong support to this ecosystem in terms of loans, grants, and subsidies. NCDC has already entered a memorandum of understanding with Indian Council of Agriculture Research. This will help with technology development and transfer from lab to land. Through various state governments and union territories, support will be provided by NCDC for integrated duck farming projects, for infrastructure development, for creation and firming of supply and value chains, and as well as marketing and promotion. This will be populated to primary level cooperatives or self-help groups or even FPOs through state and district level collectives. Monitoring support for such projects can be done by National Rural Livelihood Mission or by other technical support agencies. So lastly, to help duck farmers and entrepreneurs of the country so that they can get competitive benefits and form profitable enterprises, the way forward put by NCDC and Ministry of Rural Development is: first is assuring availability of quality germplasm, which will be done by ICR or through public-private partnership model. Second is help develop and transfer feed production technology on a large scale. Third is strengthening the supply chains by involving private players. Then involving ICAR and government department for better disease control and management. Then is helping with the commercialization of duck-based enterprises by supporting large-scale as well as backyard duckling projects. Here I would like to tell that NCDC is also willing to create a special pipeline to financially assist these cooperatives and federated SHGs for duck-based enterprising projects. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Diksha, for the presentation. I'll now request Dr. Sunil Giri, who is Principal Scientist in Central Avian Research Institute branch in ICR Bhubaneswar. He has been doing excellent work in duck-related research. I'll request Dr. Giri to start his presentation.
Namaskar and good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible? My slides are visible?
Yes, yes. Your slides are visible. You are audible.
Honorable Minister Madam Namchaji from Manipur and respected Sinaji, Secretary Government of India, Rural Development Department, Sri Nayakji, the main person behind this congregation were here, and our beloved Tripathi ji, DDG Annual Science, Dr. V.K. Saxena ji, and all other participants, senior bureaucrats, and our entrepreneurs, farmers were congregating more than 250 persons here. And it's a proud privilege for me to just put forth our experience and by sharing about the duck farming, which we are working in this regional center of Bhubaneswar since 2007 onwards. And perhaps this is the only center in ICR system or Government of India, and few universities are working also, but we are exclusively working on the duck. And I am very much thankful to Nayakji sir that you are giving me this opportunity. Sir, just time to say, start with me. Full screen.
PowerPoint kar lo, Dr. Giri. You make it PowerPoint.
Sir.
It's not in PowerPoint. You show.
Full screen, sir.
It is not in slideshow mode.
Sir.
Press F5.
Okay, sir. Okay, it's coming, sir.
It's okay. Okay.
Sir, just I want to say one thing, that after the success of green evolution, everybody is focusing in their vision towards the protein security and the nutritional security. And so far as animal protein is concerned, milk in our common diet, that milk is the major source of protein, but egg and meat is also 11% and 6.3%. And when we look at the animal protein status, that in milk, we have achieved maximum because our recommendation is 280, whereas we have reached 355. Whereas in case of meat and egg, we are lagging much behind. So our egg production per capita availability is 69, whereas it is 182. And we have a slogan that Sunday or Monday, rose kha one day. And species-wise contribution, if you look at the total meat availability from the poultry sector is 49.6%, means 50% of our meat is coming from this sector, poultry. So we have to look into this seriously. And when we took the poultry as a major contributor, when we are talking, sir, about poultry, we talk about chicken, duck, emu, guinea fowl, turkey, and quail. But they are responsible for nutritional security, sustainable livelihood, women empowerment, soil water fertility increasing, employment generation. Still 1 billion world population is undernourished, sir. And when we look to the census of 2012, 2012, that out of all the poultry, only 3% or less than 3% is ducks. But their egg production is even only 1% or little higher than 1%. And statewide duck population as per the 2012 census Assam leads the table and followed by West Bengal and Kerala. Madam Tinku Biswal is also here, and followed by Tripura, Manipur, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh. Like this, in India, total we have sent 4,54,000 odd figure of the dog population. But this is the exact scenario from Kerala. Madam Biswal is also telling. This is the common practice of the Kerala. They have large, long water bodies, and people are taking in a nomadic style, and at least 3 months they are coming in one direction and coming back in other direction, collecting eggs, selling them, earning a lot. But when we look to the chick production, from backyard poultry, there is a clear-cut transformation to this poultry industry. And we are now, in every nook and corner, we are getting this broiler, eggs, everything. But in case of duck, we are still in this nomadic state, still in this scavenging status, and we are transforming only this thing to small flocks, growing and multiplying and selling the ducklings. This is definitely, sir, a matter of concern for us. And if we look to the advantages of this duck farming, definitely it is the protein source and nutrition security. It's an easy source of protein because the size, every egg size is 10 to 15 gram more than chicken egg. It's not a small thing, sir. And eggs for long period, they lay eggs for long period, 3 to 4 years, even though a little less, but in the first year they're giving maximum egg. And the most important thing that in the scavenging system in the backyard, the ducks collect their feed from both land and water. Our wastage of food in the water is consumed by them and converted to egg. And the enriched soil water, withstand calamities, and best integrated species so far as rice, fish, duck, even horticulture is concerned. And for this purpose, less capital investment is required. Then you look to this nutrient composition of fresh duck and chicken egg. Here, definitely, sir was telling, or Tripathi sir was telling that it is water percent. Definitely, it is less, means we get a more mass of protein here in case of duck egg, and energy is more, protein is more, calcium more, iron is more, and vitamin B12. Only thing is lipid is little bit less, which is not desired in case of chicken. That's why we prefer it also. And if we look to the schematic diagram of a duck, there is web fitted, and just you see, sir, these are different varieties. Perhaps just said the web fitted, they have the bills, and they have typical characteristics. That is why it is difficult to maintain in such organization. And or different varieties of ducks, that khaki Campbell, and this is the maximum. It is a layer variety. We broadly divide into layer and broiler variety, means meat purpose and egg purpose. In the egg purpose, I just show these most improved varieties, khaki Campbell, having the potentiality of 200 to 300, even 320 eggs. And by 20th week of age, before 20th, they started laying 18, 17. This is the male-female pair of khaki Campbell, and this is a native variety found in Odisha and the coastal belt of even in the West Bengal. It is named as Kuji variety. It is also almost at par with the khaki Campbell, but very good scavenging ability and best suited for this backyard system. And when we consider about this meat type, the best broiler duck is white Pekin. And within 6th week of age, it is 6th week, more than 2 kg it attains. And egg production is very less since it is a broiler variety. And we have another variety, and we found that these are this Muscovy type, we call it Moti. It is in this tribal belt of Odisha, Malkangiri, Nabarangpur. They used to fly, and their meat is treated as in red meat, but they lay very poor egg, and their lifespan is much more. So the small behavior, I'm just concentrating a little behavior, because how this dog has not been growing very fast like chicken, because they have web feed. So we cannot keep them cages, and they swim fast. So if we cannot keep them cages, we cannot go for the selective breeding and the artificial insemination program. That's a bottleneck for us, and we are working hard for this to how to solve this thing. Then it's long neck. So you see just that all these ladies, tribal ladies, they hold their bars at the neck because they have a long neck, and this long neck usually it is they used to feed them and the water every time they need water, simultaneously feed and water. That is why the most important thing Sinha sir was telling, that dogs need every time to dip its head. If it will not dip its head, it will be partially blind or full blind afterwards. That's why always they used to, when they're allowed to put water, immediately they used to put their hand. They search food simultaneously. That is why our research, we find that how we'll minimize the water and provide a water channel inside the house so that the basic requirement of water will be just to meet the basic requirement and they can grow better, there will be no blindness. And at least 2 to 2.5 to 3 square feet space is required, so that we have to again minimize our, we are working on this floor space management system also. And very typical is the sex differentiation of dogs. Initially, in case of chicken, day-old chickens, they have been sex differentiated. Day-old, the same thing can be done. However, in the older age, the female, they quack, they produce loud voice. Whereas the drex, they have been coiled in the tail. It is the, and some Moscow birds, they are having the comb-like structures. When you look at the duck production, sir, very systematically, I want to bring to notice that hatching of ducklings is important. And for this, their incubation period is 28 days. 24 days, we keep the eggs in the incubator with recommended temperature and relative humidity. For 14th day, we have tested for the fertility test by candling. And 25th day, we transfer to hatcher. And on 28th day, we used to collect the ducklings, day-old ducklings, which can be transported to every part within 24 hours without feed and water. And when you look to the management, definitely temperature is needed, light is needed, otherwise there will be mortality. So our scientific method, we confine to this, and minimum light for 7 to 10 days required. And since their neck is long, they need soaked feed, otherwise there will be choking. And sufficient clean drinking water, change of litter material, because their fecal material is little wet. And suitable litter material also, and sometimes due to the night, due to huddling, there is also mortality. And when after 1 month, definitely they need water, and we allow them to, this is we call run space, because in run space daytime they used to stay, and the night we used to keep them in the shelter house where no feed and water is provided. And in case of scavenging, after 1 month, at least 300 or 400 gram body weight they attend, then the farmers, they allow them to the ponds for the scavenging. So this is, you see, is the farm condition of different under two of our extra funded projects, NAIP and DST project. We have worked at least with 4,000 farm families in tribal districts of Odisha and adjoining states also, and we got the success. How these farmers are taking these birds for the grazing in the outside and offering the feed, kitchen waste, vegetable peels, and like this. And this is the systematic way where this is scientific. We need this type of improvement. Otherwise, it is very difficult to get the clean and fertile eggs to multiply our germplasm and to propagate to the fields. And this is the common houses, the villagers, the dog farmers structure is a very small, low-cost house having this. There is no litter material, only the dry sand, because they soak the fecal material and it is very clean. And some farmers invested little money, because normally these dog farmers are poor. So make them wooden plank, and they constructed very safe, secured and hygienic and ventilated houses for the dogs. See, sir, after just letting loose from these houses, they're immediately going to the pond for the scavenging, collecting their food from weeds, snails, mollusks, everything, everywhere. They're grazing. Good, these native varieties are very good grazers. I am not talking, there are so many varieties like Nageswari, Chara, Chameli. Mrs. Nivedita Naik will tell some breeds about local varieties. That's why I'm only confined to Khaki Campbell, White Pekin, and some successful our Fuji variety. So if we look to the feed composition of the duck, wheat is the major place, and wheat is in competitive for human food. But it is not maize that we used to give in the like chicken, because maize is very risky, because maize contains moisture and aflatoxin is growing, and there is aflatoxicosis, and this is serious for. So we are trying with wheat and our replacing with rice kani and cassava, like these tuber crops. We are also replacing up to 50%. We tried to replace. And other content, that fish meal is a must. If you stop fish meal, then perhaps they will not lay any egg. And if the birds will let loose to outside, then they will get some annual source of protein like snails, mollusks, and extracellular. Otherwise, in an confined feeding, we have to play with the protein of different stages, starter, grower. A lot of work has been done in our centers with the feed, and we are advising our farmers to look into it. And when we look to the performance of ducks, this is a generalized performance, and in the body weight, they gain, and almost about 17th or 18th week, they start laying eggs, White Pekin little later, and by 40th week, The average egg weight is 66 grams in case of Khaki Campbell, and native ducks it is 68 because they scavenge better and they used to lay 2 to 3 gram bigger eggs. And mortality is very less also because they are hardy and they are very disease resistant to certain extent also. But these are the feeding systems. People are, the ladies in the tribal ladies, offering the kitchen wastes, vegetable peels, fish meal, fish scale, offals, and kitchen wastes and leftover rice, whatever they used to throw, it is just converted and to come to as a protein source in the term of the of egg and meat. We studied in different ways, and in under backyard system, we make a trial that partial feeding from the commercial feed and let loose to other, and we compare that with supplement feed and no supplement feed. But at a certain stage, the Khaki Campbell also this without supplement feed, there is little less growth. Whereas in case of our native varieties, they attain at 5th month, even if we provide supplementary feed or not supplementary feed, they attain growth. It means that they're very good scavengers. They can collect. And so far as laying management is concerned, these dogs, so sometimes we're keeping the dogs in the same place day and night with water generally bigger houses with less number, and sometimes we're keeping in the separately. And so that fertile egg collection will be there, so that our ducklings will be hatched. And by that time laying, calcium and vitamin is a must, otherwise because the cell thickness and hardness of duck egg is better and harder than chicken. And so far as disease is concerned, since these birds are very hardy and more disease resistance, hardly 2-3 diseases are there. Otherwise, there are many diseases, but we concerned about dog plague, that enteritis, and for which we used to vaccine them at 12th week of age, and one vaccine will keep safe and keep safety your immunity for 1 year. Otherwise, dog virus hepatitis and the cholera, a bacterial disease, it is not of much importance besides salmonellosis, aspergillosis, aflatoxin, gout, and some parasitic diseases. And so ultimately, our target is to provide nutritional security to these malnutrition affected these tribal boys and girls, and their growth and some earning, some means of livelihood, and employment generation. And these dogs are very woman friendly. It is an woman friendly entrepreneurship with the women, because I will show some slides. So this is the economics. In a small units there where we have given them 25 numbers and taking the total data, and we came to after their investment is 25 numbers of day-old ducklings, initial feed and the cost of drinker and one electric bulb, vaccination and medication cost, and in 1 year they can go for 2 cycles, and ultimately it is 16,600, though it is small, but this is in addition to the nutritional security, because they used to sell their eggs after consuming their family members. That is a big achievement, even if 16,000 per year. But for 1 month, if it is 1.5 thousand, it's also good for them. And so far as integration is concerned, everybody knows, sir has also told that integration dogs are best integrated species, and we integrate with fish and we integrate with fish and rice also. So this is a system where in a big systematic aquaculture pond, 1 hectare pond, 100 dogs they let loose. And in this case, so many benefits are getting. That is oxygenation, because since they are web-footed, they used to swim, they create oxygenation. There will be no precipitation on the water, and uniform temperature is maintained. We know, sir, that in the water system there are 3 layers of fishes are there: the surface layer, middle layer, and bottom layer. Then if the water will be rise, temperature will be rise in the surface, then the surface layers like katla, they will go to the down. There is an imbalance in the ecosystem. But if we keep dogs in the same pond, they always swim, so that they will just circulate the water, and there will be very uniform temperature maintained. And dog feces is rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, and they cause the growth of the plankton, which is the feed for the fishes. So the commercial feed for fish is minimized here. And dogs simultaneously collect snails, weeds, predator fishes, as ample source of feeding there. And if we raise more dogs, then we have to go for some supplementary feed. And we calculated the economics. It is 1.6 times of return if only aquaculture will be done in the same pond. But the most interesting is this, this is an work we are doing since last 5-7 years with NRI Rice Research Kotak, National Rice Research Institute Kotak, that rice, fish and dog in the one pond. In one, sir, you look to this picture, in 1 hectare area, they just from the band to these middle, 10 feet, they remove some soil and make it deeper so that water will accumulate here. And in the middle there is rice. They cultivate rice in the SRI method. And in 1 hectare, they used to put rice, sorry. And in they put rice and dock after brooding in outside, and 4,000 fingerlings, carved fingerlings in the one pond, one system. And what happens, sir? The rice is growth, usual growth, and when we just let loose, allow the fish and duck to move, by that time there is no need of any insecticides or any commercial chemical fertilizer, because duck fishes will act as they will be rich in nitrogen. There is no need of any nitrogen and other. Only once they used to give the pesticides before planting material. And fish fingerlings are allowed. Dock fishes, the plankton will grow, fish will take it. And from the dock itself, they will remove some dock weeds. And the interesting thing is that some biological control of this insect, the stem borer and rice, which causes a lot of harm, wilting of this plant. And this biological control by these insects, when came to the water for their breeding, by the time dogs will engulf it and it will consume. That's why, sir, in 3 systems, in 3 components in 1 system, they will continue for at least 90 days, so that after calculation, the fishes will reach more than 600 grams of weight, dogs about to lay or started lay, and even the rice is harvested. There is water for 1 month in the periphery so that they can culture, and the next time again rice, the same system will continue, and we calculate it is 2.6 times of return. And it is continuously going on, and we are modifying with some horticulture crop, different rice varieties and different dog varieties. So this is a very successful program, and we have replicated the program to different parts of like Ersama, and so after super cyclone also we have done it. And one innovative technology, sir, we have devised where there is no water and it is published in Hindu. The thing is that, sir, duck can be reared in a polythene pond where there is no water. We have adopted at least 500 villages in the earlier years, and we find that the basic requirement of water can be met with 10 feet by 5 feet by 2.5 feet and mulched with polythene and in a shady place so that water will remain there. Duck will only come to this system for the water. Otherwise, they will scavenge outside, and the farmer will offer his rest of the feeds and vegetable peels like this. And in a 25 to 30 ducks can be raised with this without any commercial feed, and net profit will be 16,000 rupees. Besides, it's nutritional security to the farmer. It is a very successful program. It is replicated in the tribal areas and in Jharkhand also, and in our Odisha, Keonjhar, Sambalpur, Mayurbhanj district, sir. And we find the performances of these birds. We generated data and published also. And these are this is Kodarma in Jharkhand, Mayurbhanj in Odisha, Keonjhar in Odisha also, Sambalpur also, more number of bucks, and he's not tribal, but he followed this technology and earned a lot also. And so far as entrepreneurship development is concerned, for which today's meeting is there, the most important thing is an establishment of an hatchery. And if hatchery is it is an incubator and hatcher, but where from the fertile egg will come? So the people have to go for the parent line farm. And the critical input supply chain must be there, that the duckling feed and medicine should be easily available at the doorstep of the farmers. And marketing will definitely, and meat and duck produce meat and egg, and simultaneously value addition, because so many nuggets and different products can be made which can be fetch more price. And sir, this is the hatchery establishment. This is our own hatchery, and these are the requirements. And hardly a machine costs 7 to 10 lakhs. Nowadays, it is the biggest challenge that the farmer is not getting the ducklings at in their state. So they are coming mostly to Bangalore, CPD of Bangalore, or to Odisha. But from this place, carrying the duckling and reaching their own place causes the serious mortality, and many times they become failure. But it's a very less investment, one incubator and putting egg, 12,000 egg, and it's an hatcher transferring egg on 25th days, and ultimately on 28th days this duckling came. But for this, and farm is required that for to produce fertile eggs. This is the entrepreneur, sir. Name is BK, is Vicky. His name is Vicky. He is from Motipur, Bihar. He is in continuous touch with me since last 3 years. And ultimately, sir, after having a farm, he has established his own hatchery with BK poultry, and is always in good touch with me and earning a lot. But he needs a certificate that the health certificate for these ducklings is in. And this is another entrepreneur, sir. He's from Allahabad, Shiv Prasad. And he's having a lot of big flocks and scavenging. He's taking outside, giving some food like that wheat, and thousands of birds are with him, and he's selling and he's earning. But it is not systematized. He needs support. He needs establishment of structures, infrastructures, so that he can guide. And he needs also capacity building training, demonstration. Sir, the group activity, what I was telling about this group activity, and in SSG mode, self-help group mode, we worked, and at least 200 self-help groups in Odisha we adopted between 2010 to 2016, and we got a lot of success. They are leasing the village ponds, and in a group, they are in alternating, they make them alternate arrangements that today this person will be taking these dogs to the pond. Next is the another person. In this way, they are and earning, selling the male dogs they used to sell. We advise them to sell male dogs at 3 months of age, because for table purpose egg production, no male is required. If male is there, then it will consume more feed, and female there will delay in laying the eggs. That's why in this way, sir, continuously they are doing. Nowadays also there are activities going on, and they're earning, and they're the best suited persons for the flock management. And some constraints we are facing, that available these critical inputs like duckling. Duckling must be available in every state, at least in one place, so that they can carry. Because from one place like Odisha, Bhubaneswar or Bangalore, it's not possible to take these ducklings, live ducklings, to the different distant parts, to Rajasthan or to Gujarat like this. And fertility and hatchability in duck, in case of chicken, it is 95 or 97% fertile. Eggs are there in hatchery fertility, but in duck it is very poor. And we are working on the artificial insemination. We have standardized the method, and we improved at least 10 to 15%. Otherwise, it is 50 to 60% hatchability. So we are continuously working and to improve the fertility and hatchability. So far as marketing is concerned, sir, nowadays also these duck eggs are sold in these roadside. Nobody is there. Somewhere it is sold at a very high price. Somewhere it is very less price. So there must be a linkage to the local market, and we should look into it. And the main thing is financial need. Everybody wants to keep duck, but they could not able to construct a good house. They could not able to feed initial priority. So the initial investment that can be looked into. And this is our farmers visiting our hatchery. Sir, by the artificial insemination, we find that the farmer's choice, that one bird must give, it must be colorful, because to catch the eye of this consumer, and it is very good to see, and then it must be good layer and good meat production also, broiler also. So with white Pekin is a broiler variety, we cross the white Pekin male with the khaki Campbell female through artificial insemination, and we find that field trial has been done, and intensive method we read also, and we find they are better adaptable, good scavengers, more egg production, but less than khaki Campbell definitely, and higher growth, and very catchy, because their plumage color is multicolor. And this is the farmer's choice, sir. We want to, in different combination, breed them, and in different combination with other local varieties, we will also develop some, if permitted, and scope will be provided. And our researchable issues also, sir, we want to improve in the fertility hatchability with low cost feed, because till now we are working on these scavenging method or semi-intensive partial feeding. But when a parent line farm is to made, we have to definitely look to the cost of the feed. So we have to make a low cost feed, locally available feed, and their nutrient requirement to be met, and better egg production with there, with better fertility and hatchability. And minimization of water, the concept of allowing the water to pond, the ducks allowing to pond, we have to just per drop more crop. That is that slogan. We have to look into it, and definitely we have to minimize the water requirement of the bird. And a dual variety duck for the backyard purpose is a must. And the availability of germplasm is needed, simultaneously value addition and commerce, so that commercialization then can be possible. So these are the small publications in Hindi and English, where for the farmers, and our farmers all are dependent, and so many farmers are linked with us in different mass media, WhatsApp, and this is our small regional center, and many times the farmers are coming, and we're taking all biosecurity measures to the best of our ability and knowledge. We're partnering them, the training, capacity building, and encourage them, and we hope all will visit our center one day. Thanks a lot for patience hearing, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Giri, for an excellent presentation. I will also take this opportunity to launch a flyer, informative flyer in Hindi, which Dr. Giri and Dr. VK Saxena have made. इसका नाम है बतख पालन, एक संक्षिप्त परिचय। ये डॉक्टर इस ओकेजन के लिए डॉक्टर गिरी और डॉक्टर VK सक्सेना ने ये बनाया है, और हम लोग NCDC से इसको मास सर्कुलेट करेंगे। This is launched in this. Thank you, Dr. Giri, for working on this.
Thank you.
Now I'll request Dr. Nivedita Naik, scientist from ICR Institute in Goa, to make her presentation.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar. A very good afternoon to all the honorable dignitaries, all the participants, and my respected teachers, Dr. VK Saxena, Dr. S.C. Giri, and Dr. J. Tyagi. So today I'm going to discuss opportunities and challenges in dog farming in Goa and adjoining regions. Goa is a southwest coastal state. It is the smallest state, but it is having highest land holdings for farmer, and it is surrounded by Maharashtra in north and Karnataka in southeast area. And if you will see the Goa statistics population, there more than 90% population are non-vegetarian, and being a tourist destination, there's a large influx of tourists to Goa. So there's highest number of fine dine restaurants and hotels, which use just different kind of meat products for the population needs. And there is a suitable environment throughout the year for animal husbandry as well as dog rearing. And the most important is there is substantial inland water bodies that is more than 500, which is essential for dog breeding and from the welfare point of view. Then coming to the dogs advantages, that is already been nicely described by my teacher, Dr. S.C. Giri. So still I'll tell dogs are highly prolific. They lay well even in second year of life up to 3 to 4 years. And they are better adaptable to free range, even better than the backyard poultry, because the lands where nothing will come up, like barren lands or marshy areas, and where agriculture and livestock will not flourish, but dogs will go along in these lands. And they are more resistant to disease compared to other poultry varieties, and they does not need elaborate housing. With low cost also you can make dog housing, so that the initial expenditure will be less, so everyone can start it. And they require lesser attention because they lay eggs in the early morning period, say before 9 they can lay the eggs, so they can be let loose in the fields, and the elderly persons and women can take care of them. And they are a very intelligent docile animal. They can hoard properly, and they can be trained for going fields and coming back to safe. And they supplement their own feed by foraging in paddy fields and grasslands. They collect the different weeds, insects, molluscs, larvae, pupa. So that also they are natural predators, and they help in boosting the productivity of the plant as well as reducing the feed cost of the farmer. So these quality help them to go along with integrated farming system models. And as you know, the dog egg is higher, say on average it is 70 gram than chicken, that's around 45 to 55 gram. And the dog egg contains all the essential amino acids for human being, and the meat is more nutritious, and it contains optimal amino acids and the proper ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. And without skin, the breast portion of dog breast meat or leg meat is contain less fat. For the fat conscious consumers, they can opt for skinless dog meat. So we can say the dogs are the new chicken in the coming. So if we will analyze the opportunity of dog farming in Goa, there is a high market because consumer demand is there in different local community as well as in hotels and restaurants. So there is a market for dog egg and meat, and the inland water bodies, that is water is essential for dog welfare, though it is not absolutely essential, but still it's a natural potential for dog farming in this coastal belt. And integrated farming system with dog rice fish, farmer manure, apiary, different systems I'll discuss. And in integrated farming systems, it enhances the soil fertility as well as it enhances the groundwater recharge, maintain the trophic system, and it take natural predation of all the larvae and pupa that are under weeds. So it maintains the ecological balance of natural resources also, which is very important for environmental point of view. Then considering Goa, it is a high tourist influx area. More than 55 lakhs people visited every year in average. So there is a, if you go for value addition of products, the farmers can earn more money and becoming more beneficial for the maintaining of the duck farm. And then another point is bread making. It is a heritage for Catholic communities of the Goa, and they're using duck eggs, and since water content is less, protein is more. So protein and fat also, it helps in more fluffiness of the cakes and making it soft and giving it a better texture. So all these opportunities, if will be well explored by the people or the farmers, entrepreneurs, they can come very profitable duck farming. The integrated farming system at our ICR CCRI Goa, in the land structure is mostly two types here in Goa: off-land, the mountains, and the lowland, water logged or rain-fed areas. In that, we have constructed a low-cost housing in our farm complex. It's a wooden structure, safe, secured, and it is well ventilated also. And the initial structures for maintaining this is also very less. And here we are having Kuttana ducks, that's a dual purpose breed. And this is a 4-tier system of integrated farming: duck, fish, rice, and farm-made manure. It is a small fund with different kind of fishes, catla, different medium carbs, and these are bound crops and vegetables, and alongside farm-made manure or vermicomposting also we are doing. So the input of one system, that is the faces of the ducks, is utilizing as the feed for the fishes, and that water is also using as a leachate for the vegetation, which is enhancing the sustainability of the system, the productivity of the farm, as well as profitability of the farmer. Then coming to another type of model, integrated farming, this is a bit of permanent structure with concretes, and in 1 hectare area we are raising around 200 to 300 ducks can be raised. So this is a 0.1 hectare where we are having 20 Kuttana ducks here, and they are maintained in this structure throughout the year. Since the climate is very good, we are not facing any extreme weathers. So it is duck, fish, and bound crops. Bound crops means some vegetations will be there, and it can be supplemented with apiary or bee culture also. So coming to the off-land system of farming, this is in our KVK off-land, it's there. We are having 30 number of ducks. The ducks are let loose in rice fields after 9 to 10 days of rice plantation, where due to their shovel shape of the bills, they are scooping and churning the soil, and where the disease that plant wilting, they're taking the insects, other things, so that is also taken care of. And there's the organic control of weed management, which is helping in biodiversity conservation, as well as helping the soil fertility and water quality also. So coming to the Kuttana ducks that I have described before, it is native to Kerala, but in Goa, most of the farmers having this breed, so I'm discussing about it. So we are having an intensive system of rearing till 2 weeks to 8 weeks. We are maintaining it till brooding, and the annual egg production is more than 250, and there is that meat is suitable for value addition after the economic period is over. So coming to the Muscovy duck, it is a lean meat, the lean meat purpose for fat conscious consumers, and it's attaining 2.85 kg weight at 30 weeks or at slaughter age, and it looks very good with its caruncles and a red and white color plumage, and it grazes like a goose, and it is having caul feather for the male, so it's in between of duck and goose. And when we cross Muscovy ducks with common ducks, they are called sterile hybrids are produced. They are called mule ducks, which is mostly used for meat purpose. Then coming to the performance indices of Kuttana ducks, what we have evaluated in our farm as well as in field, the body weight is coming around 6 weeks 1.1 kg, and 12 weeks it is coming 1.8 kg for male and 1.5 kg for female. But the feed consumption is around 7.5 kg, and the daily feed consumption we are giving 100 gram with scavenging 4 to 6 hours of scavenging, and the egg weight is quite good, 68 to 70 gram we are getting. But the mortality with good production practices, the mortality can still be reduced in starter period. So coming to the field performance of white Pekin, its weight is coming around 2.3 kg at 7 weeks, with a feed consumption up to culling that on an average 9.8 to 11.2 kg. With feed conversion ratio of 4.1, it's a bit higher, that can be still reduced. And ducklings mortality is 4.3% because they're getting the ducklings from Bangalore or other sources from Bhubaneswar. So in that, when they reach here, there's a mortality is there. So if we'll have sufficient facility to supply the farmers, then this mortality will be reduced, and they will obviously get the more livability. Then coming to the value-added duck products, as I told, duck eggs can replace chicken eggs in all the products by weight. When we are using chicken eggs of 5 to 7, there we can reduce by using the duck eggs, since it is more weight, 2 to 3 also can manage. And the bakers, they love duck eggs because of its higher protein, which makes the cakes fluffier, better texture, lightness, and rich flavor, which is appreciated by most of the consumers. Then different products, this I'm showing a cute duck egg, salted products, 1000-year egg, that's Sweden, Balut, Fablum, and so many products can be made, and that can be used to meet the demands of the consumers in different hotels, restaurants. And coming to the meat products, these are all the meat products that is preferred in Goa only. We have consulting with some in hospitality institute, and we have take it. And the different methods of cooking will be like curing, salting, then roasting, and smoking. So different duck, these are fine dishes, and this is a traditional Goan dishes. This is called kaffrel, jacuti, and many other products. They're using the duck meat. Duck meat are dark, tender, and having a unique taste that is also appreciable by different consumers. And per servings, they're selling it 550 rupees per gram, just servings. So if somebody is going for value addition, then you can imagine the benefit the farmers will get. Then coming to different entrepreneurs, she is Jacqueline Fernandez having a What the Duck farm. You can see her farm, that is a very low cost housing she has made with intensive system they are following. And for some batch, she's going for semi-intensive system where she's feeding with azolla, water hyacinth, and different black soldier fly larvae to reduce the feed cost. And she's going for effective value chain from farm to fork. When she's going for a live sale, she's was getting 100 rupees per kg, and after slaughtering her, just dressing the parts and selling to restaurants, she's getting 450 rupees per kg. It's the price in Goa, and she will also describe her journey. And she's getting gross profit of 2 lakhs. It depends on the batch size. So she's rearing for 2 to 3 years more than, and I hope she's there, and she'll tell more about her farm. And another farm is Sun Agro Farm. She's into hatchery business. They're following integrated farming system. As you can see, some azolla ponds. She is having a pond, and they're growing azolla and water hyacinth. But their feed cost is reduced also, and then they're selling ducklings to the farmers. So within a period of 28 days, they're producing their own egg, or they're procuring the eggs and selling chicks to the needy farmers. So and selling eggs also is 15 per egg. So this hatchery business also can be taken by the entrepreneurs to get profit within a short span of period. So this farm is located in Ponda, Goa. So so this is also run by a lady, Navida Habib. Then this is a Nunes farm. She is Madam Nunes. She is having into diversified poultry farming with duck and other species like guinea fowl, turkey. And as for her view, there is a demand in local Goan community also, as well as the demand increases during seasons like Christmas and Easter's. She is also into small scale value addition like sausages and pickles, and she is having a small feed unit also that she wishes to grow big if she gets financial help, and she's using that fresh bakery products to feed her ducks. And she's earning also good amount, 50,000 to 70,000 per batch. So in this period, we did a small baseline survey of backyard poultry farmers as well as ducky farmers to know the socio-economical characteristics of the farm as well as the farmer, and then backyard poultry farming practice followed in this west coastal region, including Goa, Karnataka, some part of Maharashtra also, and the risk-taking ability as an entrepreneur and the attitude towards backyard poultry farming, including their different adoption practices, level of adoption, reason of non-adoption if they are dropping in between, and what is the marketing information and the cross-sectional data, and the cost benefits and constraints and suggestions. In this particular farmer, she had suggested to go for cooperative business so that her business will increase, and she wishes to prefer her own feed and training of the staff so that they will better manage the farm. So by this survey, we come across some constraints, that is limited availability of quality duckling germplasm in this region. they're getting from farm, Harakrash, from Bangalore, Bhubaneswar, like that. And their financial constraint from the sector, government sector, with respect to duckery business. Backyard poultry, they're getting to some extent, but if it is taken care of, then more people will be attracted to the duckery farming. And the cost of feed is high, and there is a problem since it is a humid area, and if they are not go for proper storage of feed, it's attracting molds and fungus, and there is a problem of aflatoxicosis. And there's limited awareness about good production practices. So if this is also through extension services, trainings and workshops, this can be taken care of. And since there is a demand is here, most of the people from outside the states that doing trading business. So if the duck farming will be coming up and the farmers will be self-sufficient as times are challenging and supply chain is also inhibited in present times, as said by Madam Tinko Bissalman. So this can be taken care of, and there will be a chance to go for own production and being self-sufficient. Okay, so these constraints will be a way forward for the farmers if it will be taken into account. Then this is a semi-intensive system of rearing of white Peking duck in the backyard of a farmers. Thank you. Thank you for time and opportunities.
Thank you, Dr. Nivedita. I must tell all the participants and particularly the panelists that we have almost more than 260 participants on the YouTube and also around 212 on this channel. We are running perhaps 45 minutes late. If all of you agree, then we'll go ahead and because there is so much of enthusiasm and so much of things to cover. I hope nobody will mind if we go beyond 1 o'clock where we were to stop.
I'm sure everybody should be fine, sir.
No problem, sir.
No problem.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you. We have, because there is some confusion in government of Bihar, there are some emergencies. Miss Bandana Prayasi has just joined. I'll request her to speak on behalf of government of Bihar. Maybe she would like to be very brief. Miss Bandana, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. I begin by complimenting other speakers. I joined a little while back, and I heard the speakers. And for a state where duck farming has not really taken off, and it is not one of the activities that cooperatives are involved. For me, it was an extremely informative session where I have at least, I'm now aware of the potential that duck farming could have for my state. I would like to say that while the poultry has taken off in Bihar in a big way, but when it comes to duck farming, the situation is such that we have small pockets of people independently doing some sort of activities because of the demand in the West Bengal. So the districts near West Bengal have started some duck farming activities. But in the mainstream Bihar, we do not have this activity right now. Is the poultry sector and the fisheries which has really taken a lot of economic space in the state. But by listening to the speakers, and it appears that it has immense potential. I was hearing Kerala and how they have actually been. It has been transformative. So just to keep my things short, and because I know we are beyond the time, but we have potential because we have enough water bodies which can take care of the duck farming. We have a lot of rice cultivation, paddy cultivation that happens. Now we can combine paddy and duck farming, and so maybe in the coming times we will be requesting NCDC for this support, both technical and financial. And it will be, I think it will be a partnership that can be built in future. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bandana. Now I'll request, we'll go to the experience sharing from the ground. I'll start with Dr. Thomas Jacob from Kerala.
വിളിച്ചു വൈറ്റ് ബോർഡ് ഫോം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞെടുക്കുന്നത് എന്താ Okay, sir, I will start in a second. I'm gonna share that. Sir, I am audible?
Yes.
Yes, this is just an experience
You are
sharing.
audible.
Okay, sir. Can I start?
Yes.
Yes, please start.
Yes. Namaskar. I am Dr. Thomas Jacob, Assistant Director, Government Duck Farm, Niranam. This is just an experience sharing. And the first slide shows the census figures for the past 4 census. See, it's increasing steadily. In 2007, our population is 9.94 lakhs, and the growth rate is 50.51. During 12, the growth rate is increased to 71.81. And 2019, it should have to cross the limit of 25 lakhs. The problem is that there is 2 outbreaks of duck flu in 14 and 16, and the flood. So around 25 to 30 lakhs ducks lost in these 2 instances. That is the reduction. And at present, the pattern of duck farming is changes. Earlier, there are farmers maintaining 30,000 ducks. They depending entirely on the harvested paddy fields. But now there are 40% of ducks are in the backyard, and the rest 3% is maintained by the emerging farmers. They entirely depend upon the waste from the fish industry. They are maintaining around 100 to 1,500 layers. And the average egg weight of our duck is 70 grams, and the one egg fetch rupees 10. And for backyard rearing, the income per year is 2,000 per one female bird, and the profit may vary from 1,000 to 2,150. Breed of Kerala is commonly known as Kuttanadan ducks. This is popular in southern states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and in Goa. So average body weight is 1.5, and the male may reach up to 2 kilograms at 11 weeks of age. They start egg production by 19 weeks of age. Annual production is 200. And in backyard rearing, the egg production may be increased up to 220. Productive life is 3 years, and they are easy to head. The Nirana duck farm is the one and only farm which maintaining the pure Kuttanadan Chara and Chembali ducks, the 2 varieties, 2 strains of Kuttanadan ducks. And you can see the female Chara ducks. There is no mosaic colors. They are all with a black, dark spotted body, a gray bill, and bluish colored patch on either side of the wings. That is a typical color of Kuttanadan ducks. We are having a flock size of 2,000 Kuttanadan Chara and Kuttanadan Chembali as our parent stock. This is the female, and the male, all with a metallic blue colored head with an olive green bill, bluish colored patch with metallic sheen on the wings. This is the Kuttanadan Chara male, and the earlier one is the female. And the Chembali female, Kuttanadan Chembali female, all with a fawn color, and all these ducks are having yellow beak and yellow legs. Chembali male, this is a pure Chembali ducks. The difference from Chara is this is much more lighter with a light mahogany color, and the head is slightly darker, but there is no metallic sheen. And the bills and the legs all are yellowish orange in color. Another one is, this is actually a cross between Kuttanadan white ducks, other than Chara and Chembelli, there are certain other strains are there. That one is Kuttanadan white ducks. The problem with white pecking is the lesser production, and the cross between this white pecking and Kuttanadan ducks, we develop this breed. This is not actually breed a strain. This is the one and only duckling with a pure feather coat on the day of hatch. They achieve around 2.3 kilogram by the 7th week, and also they are good layers, producing around 180 egg per year. This is a best suited for as a dual purpose breed for backyard, and also can be used as a broiler breed. In most of the states, they are maintaining khaki camel as the layer bed. Comparing with khaki camel, our Kuttanadan ducks are this is a comparison between Kuttanadan and khaki camel. Here, the khaki camel, as per literature, they may lay about 270 eggs, but while we are keeping this khaki camel, they are producing around 230 to 250 eggs. Compared to Kuttanadan ducks, which produce 200 eggs a year, is somewhat better. But the average egg weight of a Kuttanadan duck is 70 grams, while for khaki camel it is only 50 to 55 grams. So the annual production, when we compare on weight basis, Kuttanadan ducks produce 14 kilogram of egg in a year, while the khaki camel produce only 13.75 kilogram egg only. So my request is to try our bed once. Then for the other states, I request you please try our Kuttanadan ducks once, and then you will never say no to the Kuttanadan duckery. And another state of Kerala is in high demand for duck meat. The problem is that the availability of pure broiler duckling is the scarcity of pure broiler ducklings is the limiting factor. In Kerala, our 2 farms are there under government sector producing. We are using the Bigova Super ducks. They achieve 2.5 kilogram in 7 weeks. One farm under Kerala State Poultry Development Corporation, and our farm producing this Bigova ducklings. I just saw a statement where for the first one, we use the farmer is using only the duck feed, only commercial food at 35 rupees per kilogram. And the other in the second part, the farmers are using 3 kilogram of duck feed along with broiler waste. Broiler waste is extensively used for rearing broiler ducks in Kerala, broiler poultry waste. Here the comparison is cost of ducklings 45 rupees. In our farm, the day-old duckling costs only 45 rupees, transportation, and all with the 7 kilogram of feed. The feed conversion ratio in because super is 2.5 to 2.6. So 7 kilogram feed is required to produce 2.5 kilogram duck. And for 7 kilogram duck feed, it costs rupees 245. Dressing is a little bit difficult in the case of ducks, so I put rupees 50 for dressing, and the total expenditure comes to 360 for a single 2.5 kilogram Bigova Super bed. Dressing percentage is 70%, and 1 kilogram, 2.5 kilogram broiler from 2.5 kilogram broiler, we get 1.75 kilogram meat, and the price of 1 kilogram duck meat is 350 throughout in Kerala for the past 8 months, and the total income comes to 612.5 rupees. So the profit where we using feed, using commercial feed, the profit from one duck is 252.5 rupees, and when we are using 3 kilogram of feed plus broiler waste, you can see here the total expenditure can be reduced from 360 to 220, and the profit from one single bed is 392.5 rupees. That too can be obtained in a period of 7 weeks from a single bed. This is the economy of broiler production. Our aim is to double the farmers' income by 2022 by broiler farming, broiler duck farming, the income can be doubled in 50 days by rearing Bigova Super ducks. And Kudumbasri and other cooperative sector can be participate in this venture to rear these ducks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jacob. Now I'll request the duck farmer, Miss Jacqueline Brittlinger from Goa, to speak. Please unmute. Yeah, it is unmute now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Can you see me? How do you make
Yes,
it?
we can see you, and please speak.
Okay. Good day to all the scientists and the entrepreneurs, farmers, etc. Thank you for Dr. Nivedita to invite me to voice my experiences. The question I have is, can duck farming be profitable in Goa? Yes, it can. There's an increasing demand for duck meat in Goa, which I could not meet the demand at the end of 2 years of duck farming. My name is Jackie Fernandez, and I am an earnest duck farmer in Goa. I am a biophysicist, community health developer, and I took on this project with a scientific approach. I had two objectives. My first objective was to produce high quality duck meat as organic as possible with efficiency and responsibility. And the second was to set up a local women's group, similar to what Dr. Giri talked about, the self-help group, to take up backyard duck farming for eggs, which we could then use the marketing we've already developed for the meat, a successful practice which has been developed by CPDO in Kerala. Okay, and the idea was also to do with the same farmers, contract farming, so they could produce our own duck feed. After 2 years of duck farming, I have successfully sold good quality duck meat of white Peking ducks and eggs. And at this moment, I'm on the verge of realizing my second objective, that's producing my own feed and starting cooperatives with the farmers, with the local farmers. How did I do this? The first person, there was no information in the state about duck farming. I approached Dr. Edison from the government poultry farm, and he gave me the A to Z of duck farming. During the last 2 decades, duck farming has been abandoned in Goa. The reasons were duck feed is not produced in the state. It has to come from outside. It's too expensive, not sustainable. There's no market, no food culture for duck meat and eggs. So I did a primary duck market survey. I couldn't get the chefs to be on my side, and they said duck meat's never been sold here, so good luck. But I took that as a challenge, and I went to CPDO in Goa, in Bangalore. I did a course, and I was ready to go. I set up my own free-range duck farm, and I'm going to highlight the economics of duck farming using examples and experience. The first factor is land. Okay, in Goa, backyard duck farming is ideal because there's no cost of land. You can do it in an integrated way, and it's sustainable. But when there is no land, when the farmer has no land, it becomes expensive. A piece of advice from an integrated farmer is not to pay more than 5,000 rupees rent or lease money for 2,000 square meters, which you could use for a small integrated farming. This was not, I paid much more, and so that was an added cost for my project. What becomes tricky is when to get a cheap rent farm, you have to go very far from your home. So that was another barrier, and daily traveling becomes a burden, and you're not I was not able to be there every single day to oversee my project. The second factor was duck housing. Fortunately, duck farming has not undergone any industrialization, so its practices can be very traditional and simple. The duck size of the house will depend on how many ducks you want to produce. So I started off with 100 ducks a month, and to have a steady flow of ducks, I needed to have 4 batches growing simultaneously. So I would need a space of 30 square meters for a batch of 100 ducks per month. Okay, I allotted a little more space per batch so I could have room for expansion, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, the cost of the housing was also exceeded in my case, but I have realized that I should, to be a successful farmer, you undertake a house that can be amortized in 2 years. Okay, so if your house cost is about 1.2 lakhs, you can realistically amortize it within 2 years. The house should have basic features which are very important for duck farming in Goa: good ventilation, raised on a high ground to avoid to ensure a dry litter and avoid aflatoxin poisoning. Beware about overcrowding. You might think I need less space, but the ducks are comfortable during their sleeping time, and they are more resistant to diseases. Outside space of foraging is absolutely essential in my free-ranging duck farm, because there were umpteen possibilities of worms, insects, grass, herbs, which was great for these great foragers. The water was taken care of. It has to be clean, so that as the scientists have already mentioned, cleaning of duck eyes, swimming, socializing is important for their health. Now, feed is a very big issue in Goa. Okay, we are what we eat, and this is true even for ducks and all other livestock. So the quality of feed will reflect a good quality meat, and that was my first objective. So until now, the major intention, my major strategy has been to basically have a well-balanced commercial. I mean, I had no option but to go for a well-balanced commercial feed. Since the feed comes from out of station, it's very expensive, and that comes to about nearly 1,720 for 50 bags of feed. That is relatively expensive for Goa. I calculated my feed conversion ratio to 4. So every duck consumed about 10 kilos of feed to reach a culling size of 2.5 kilos in about 7 to 8 weeks. To be more efficient, my supplementary feeding will have to increase, like Zola and soldier fly, grasses, herbs, gummy, etc. I did try vegetable waste from reliable sources, but I had no success, even in spite of cleaning and passing through salt water the vegetable waste. I always had an outburst of diarrhea, and I had to discontinue it. So I'm convinced that a monoculture of duck farming should be replaced by an integrated duck farming system. Use local resources for grains for feed, and at present I'm working on a model of integrated farming, and my intention is to prepare my own feed. The equipment was given a value of 25,000. Most important were the automatic feeders, rollers to rake the litter, which made the life made it a blessing in disguise, as it saves a lot of time and workforce. So technology is definitely missing out in the sector. Health and hygiene, I did not have any expenditure because the ducks were happy. I am in an isolated farm, and there was no need of vaccinations or medicines. Labor is always a challenging issue. But I had a good collaborator who was passionate about the duck farming and who did all the monitoring and measurements of daily feed, water, ducks in a systematic way. So I was able to collect data, and in that, and I was able to convince him to also do the culling, and so it was very economical for me. Although I was paying 18,000 a month, which was justified in my case. The culling is a very expensive procedure because the culinary industry in Goa wants perfect, clean skin ducks. I invested in 2 plucking machines for cold and warm defeathering without success. Halal meat also came with a price. What I request is some clarity of hygiene rules of SSSAI, which is an important important certificate that the food industry asks for duck farming here. The last factor, but certainly not the least, is the cost of the ducklings. Ducklings are not available in Goa. So getting high quality ducklings was my biggest nightmare. Okay, it disrupted the schedules I had made and consistent farming. Initially, I got my ducklings from CPDO. It was relatively economical, 22 per duckling. But the transport cost to get those ducks here ranged from 2,000 to 5,000 and a half per batch. When I got the ducklings from private breeders, it ranged from 65 to 80 rupees per duckling. And on average, I spent duckling costs of 60, 70 rupees, which is high. Okay, the high mortality in the batches were mainly due to nutrition deficiency in the ducklings, and the ducklings were not able to withstand the long journey. And I had, in some batches, a very high mortality. So it is my request that research and rearing duck unit starts in Goa, is reintroduced in Goa, and there will be many benefits for the farmers. So in summary, there's an increasing trend for duck meat and eggs in Goa. I started with 100 ducks per month. I went on rapidly to 200 ducks. And by the time coronavirus set in, I had 300 ducks per month when all the restaurants were closed because there was a great demand by Goan locals, and the demand was not being able to be met by me. Okay, the reasons is an increasing consciousness about what we eat in Goa and a need for alternate poultry meat. So I was able to sell my product for 450 a kilo, and that was helpful to neutralize the costs. I had a strong market strategy, which was to invite the client to the farm and then get them hooked. My meat was very succulent, flavorful and tender, and with a very high reduced cooking time. And I personally think this was because I let the ducks grow for 7 to 8 weeks or a bit longer, which allowed a steady growth and protein mass development. I also highlighted health benefits, and my ducks had sufficient duck fat to please the client. Duck fat is very similar to olive oil, which has which is a perfect choice for a health-conscious diet. Now, the disadvantages are, of course, the expensive feed. I went to a predominant nutritionist, poultry nutritionist, Dr. Bave, and he came up with a food formula we put our heads together. I bought a milk crusher, but so far it hasn't yet taken off because of the logistics of obtaining the grains in Goa and storage of these grains. Okay, so farmers coming together to produce their feed is actually the need of the hour, and I request the government to please support us. Getting high quality ducklings is another big problem. And I go on to request the Goa government to, any help is appreciated. This is a minor aspect, but it might generate some discussion. There is a very bad and delayed payment from clients, and this is very stressful to most farmers I know. So if the government could help us to regulate this, that would be nice, okay, and build more awareness for good production. So my final statement is, if proper measures to reduce costs, that is low-cost feed production in terms of and in terms of ducklings, we can ensure productivity, income, and biosecurity to the farmer. Research Center for increasing the availability of germplasm is the need of the hour of Goa. Dr. Nandita has been very conscious and supportive of this. And promotion of integrated farming is another very important aspect, which will help capacity building, etc. So thank you very much. And I hope I haven't exceeded my time.
Thank you, Ms. Jacqueline, for your presentation. Now I request Mr. Saddam Hussein Mondal, an entrepreneur from Bengal. Saddam Babu, আপনি বাংলাতে বলতে পারবেন? Will Dr. Tehdoor can interpret? Please start.
नमस्कार सर, हम वेस्ट बंगाल मुर्शिदाबाद से बोलছি सर। हमारा আমি सद्दाम हुसैन मंडल बोल रहा हूँ। हमारा जो कंपनी का नाम है सोबोजाइन फार्मर्स प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी लिमिटेड। सर हम लोगों का जो डाक फार्मिंग करता हूँ, डाक फार्मिंग का साथ फिशरी से काम करती हो हम लोग। हमारे सर कंपनी का रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है 17 साल में, 17-18 में। तो सर वो जो फार्मिंग है मेरे पास कंपनी का फार्मिंग है, वो एक लैंड लीज लेके हमारा फार्मिंग करती है हम लोग। तो सर हमारा कंपनी के मेंबर है सर 684 जन, 684 फार्मर है हमारे साथ। और शेयर कैपिटल है सर मेरे को 3.5 लाख 500 रुपए का शेयर कैपिटल है। तो सर हम लोगों का जो हमारे कंपनी का जो फिशरी और डाक में काम करती है 2018 में सर हम लोगों का खाकी कैम्बेल, व्हाइट पेकिन और चारा चमेली 3 ब्रीड है सर। और टोटल डाक हमारे जो मदर यूनिट है 1000 खाकी कैम्बेल और 1000 व्हाइट पेकिंग और चारा चमेली 5000 सर। तो इसलिए टोटल 2500। तो सर हमारा जो हम लोग जो काम करती है सर, हमारा जो मेंबर है उसके साथ सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप का है सर। तो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप जो उस लोगों को हमारा जो काम करते हैं सर, मदर यूनिट से लेके डीम लेके हम लोग हैचिंग करके डाकलिंग उस आदमी को देते हैं सर। हमारा जो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप है उस महिला और भी फार्मर है, वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है। उसको हम लोग डाकलिंग देते हैं, उसके साथ जो डीम कलेक्ट करके हम लोग हैचिंग करके सर मार्केट भी बेचती है। और भी सर अंडा भी मैं बेचती हूँ सर हमारा लोकल मार्केट में। और कलकत्ता में सर दिया वो जो WBCADC में हम लोग दिया 8 रुपए के लिए रेट पाया हम लोग। और हैचिंग डीम का सर जो हमारा रेट है 15 रुपया सर। तो इसके जो हमारा काम करती है हम लोगों के साथ बहुत सारे किसान जुड़ते हैं सर। और हम लोगों का 1.5 साल में सर प्रॉफिट 50,000 हो गया सर। इसलिए ये लॉकडाउन में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हुआ। हाँ तो हेलो सर।
बोलिए। डोंट वरी, आप बोलिए।
सर हिंदी सर पूरा आती नहीं इसलिए थोड़ा ये सर।
हाँ आप बोलिए।
पहली बार ये मैं सर वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस में आया सर, पहली बार, इसलिए थोड़ा।
आप बहुत अच्छा बोल रहे हैं। आप अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताइए, फिर हम सलीम अख्तर जी को भी बोलेंगे, वो बोलेंगे। आपका अगर हो गया तो फिर सलीम जी को हम बोलेंगे।
हाँ सर, ये हमारा जो काम देखते के हमारे गांव में और ब्लॉक में और डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जो बहुत लोग आती है, बहुत लोग इंटरेस्टिंग है सर। हाँ डे वर्ल्ड का डाकलिंग बेचते हो। और उस जो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप का जो महिला है सर, उस लोगों को हम लोग फीड और डाकलिंग देती है। उसके बाद जो अंडा होती है उस लोग का कलेक्ट करके हम लोग हैचिंग करके फिर मार्केट करती है हम लोग सर। तो इसलिए बहुत अच्छी लगती है हमारा फार्मर और हमारा जो मेंबर वो एक साथ में हम काम करती हो। तो सर हमारा जो सर प्रॉब्लम है सर, हमारा जो वैक्सीन सर बहुत प्रॉब्लम है। हमारे यहाँ पे कोई वैक्सीन सप्लाई नहीं है सर। हम लाइव ब्लॉक लाइव स्टॉक ऑफिस में गया, उसमें सप्लाई नहीं है सर। और इसलिए सर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो, डार्क प्लेग और डार्क कॉलेरा वैक्सीन भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम है सर। तो और हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए सर नाबार्ड और टेक्निकल सपोर्ट देती है केवी के सर। हमारे बगल में सर धानगंगा केवी के है, उसका बहुत सपोर्ट देती है। और सीएडीसी भी सपोर्ट देती है सर। इसलिए सर हम लोग जो करती है तो और बहुत बहुत फार्मर हमारे पास आती है, वो देख के बहुत खुश वो करती है। तो इसलिए सर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम मेरे को जो है सर, हमारा फार्मिंग और बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ाने के लिए सर फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट नहीं है मेरे पास सर। इसलिए कोई थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम में हूँ। और लॉकडाउन पीरियड में सर थोड़ा हमारा लॉस भी हो गया। तो अभी तो ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सर। तो हमारे साथ अभी तक जो हेलो सर।
हाँ हाँ, आप सुनाई दे रहे हो, हाँ बोलो बोलो।
सर और जो लोकल फीड हम लोग बनाती है सर, हमारे पास एक मिनी पल्वराइजर मशीन है सर। वो केबी के साथ हम लोग फॉर्मूला लेती है, उसके साथ फीड बना के हम लोग सप्लाई करती है सर।
ठीक है, थैंक यू, धन्यवाद सदाम बाबू, अनेक अनेक धन्यवाद। I think he spoke, in Hindi, so there is no need for translation. Salim Akhtar babu, apni achen to bolun ekhano. Mr. Salim Akhtar, another duck farmer.
नमस्ते सर, मैं अख्तर बोल रहा हूँ। सर सुनाई दिया सर?
सलीम अख्तर बोलून, हाँ बोलिए
मैं
बोलिए।
सलीम अख्तर बोल रहा हूँ, वही बगल से मालदा डिस्ट्रिक्ट से बोल रहा हूँ। अभी क्या है, वो मुर्शिदाबाद हमारे बगल के डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, मालदा के बगल में मुर्शिदाबाद। मैं एक छोटा फार्म मैं पहले 50 तक से शुरू किया 2 साल पहले।
आई थिंक मिस्टर सलीम अख्तर का ऑडियो वीडियो कनेक्शन में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है। नाउ विल मूव टू the real top of the value chain, where the issue is of consumption, and to increase the big jump in the value chain, we had requested Mr. Rajiv Batsian, executive sous chef from the Oberoi, New Delhi. Ji there, he can please talk.
Thank you, Mr. Naik. Good afternoon, all respected dignitaries. I'm Rajiv Batsian. I've been working. Currently, I'm associated with the Oberoi Hotel, New Delhi, as an executive sous chef. I've been working in commercial kitchen for more than 17 years now. So I'll just briefly, take you all across through how has my experience been with handling duck meat and cooking it and serving it. So if we talk about duck meat, I mean, definitely we all know one of the poultry meats. A decade and a half back, I mean 10, 15 years back from now, a duck meat would only be used in French, Asian and regional Indian cuisines, and presence in all and any other cuisine was very nominal for that matter. Now what has happened with the evolution of cuisine and food industry and people traveling a lot, moving here and there, the cuisine has also traveled along. The food habits, the food culture has traveled. I mean, I mean, now people know what they are eating. They are very keen in kind of having or gaining a knowledge of what kind of a meat or food product they are going to I'm going to have, and where it is procured from, for that matter. What is the certification and what are the hygiene practices that's being followed in cooking that meat? And I mean, so far, so they go in this in detailings of I mean, where it is grown and where it is procured from. Duck meat, to be more precise, is still popular as an exclusive meat. It doesn't come into a criteria of a general meat like chicken, lamb, and fish. It is still is an demarcated, highlighted as an exclusive meat, and definitely for people who kind of take care of their health and who are more into healthy food and healthy diet, they kind of they would like to go with duck meats, because definitely because of obvious reasons that it has kind of many health related advantages. I mean, um, because of the presence of subcutaneous fat, which is there, which is located between skin and meat of a duck and can easily be removed while cooking. So once the duck fat is removed, the meat of duck is complete. It's left with very less of fat and more of a protein. So it becomes a high source of protein and a low source of fat. However, when we talk about unsaturated fatty acids, that content is a bit high in it, which makes it very advantageous. And also the chemical composition, as shared by Miss Fernandez a while back, it's somewhat similar to that of an olive oil. Also, because of the feed on which the duck is grown, which is fish feed, and the farm has ponds and all. There's a remarkable amount of omega-3 fatty acid also present in duck meat, which primarily the primary source of which has since always been seafood and fish. So not many people know. I mean, I'm sure definitely we have so many reputed scientists and all associated here in this conference. They would be aware, but it also has certain amount of omega-3 fatty acids, which makes it quite a popular for healthy ones. In terms of breed, I mean, in previous presentations, we have seen, I mean, there's hardly any breed that we are not growing in India. White Peking being most popular across the globe for meat, and Khaki Campbell for eggs. We are kind of very much available in India and grown in India and for sale. Now, the most important point which I would want to kind of emphasize is standardization and quality control of the meat and eggs that's being offered to the market. Yes, marketing does play a remarkable role, but one of the primary tool of marketing duck meat and duck egg could be, the hygiene standard and practices that's being followed, and with what the meat has been handled. And I mean, today you see most of the high-end restaurants and hotels, they have duck in their menus in some form or the other. But when it comes to procurement of these duck, most of them kind of look to international market. I mean, why would we not use an imported duck and all? Now here lies a very kind of big opportunity which can be encashed, and which can be kind of all these international procurement can be replaced with local thing. The only, I think, the most important driving criteria for shift of this business could be gaining the confidence of the end users. I mean, in this matter, the high-end restaurants or the hotels or the people who are serving it, or for the people who are consuming it. So the primary way of gaining their confidence could be having some kind of a certification which would assure that yes, the product is of an international level. And with this pandemic coming in, this hygiene certification has taken another height. It has gone to another height. It is most of the big companies, chains and organizations have made it mandatory for all the suppliers and vendors to have this FSSAI certification. And it's FSSAI, it's Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. So they have one of the branch of FSSAI is one of the diversified segment is Food Safety Management System, which has released, they kind of release a food industry guide, which very categorically, kind of explains what particular standards are to be followed, starting from the stage of farming of duck and eggs to slaughtering and going into the detailing of how it has to be processed, what temperature it has to be processed, how it has to be stored, what kind of quality control that's required, and at what temperature and in what status it has to be delivered to the end department. So this one FSSAI certification, which is not like a, I mean, there are certain parameters that needs to be followed to attain a FSSAI certification, but definitely size is not the parameter for this certification. But I mean, something as a domestic farm can also attain an FSSAI certification. So with this, I definitely sincerely recommend NCDC should do something, to kind of extend this or to make this certification available for small scale farmers, which would open up huge market with constant demand and constant and regular demand, and subsequently the size of business would also increase. I mean, we have seen in previous presentations that definitely duck meat is something which is more in demand as compared to supply in country, and I think this certification thing can be a big thing. Otherwise, I think we have a long way to go, and yes, definitely, yes, the subtle texture and robust flavor of duck meat is definitely something which all the chefs like me would love to eat and love to cook and eat and serve to our guests. And this, I would just like to thank NCDC for providing me this opportunity to share my experience at this level. And it's been late, and thank you very much. We'll just take a leave. Any question, and please feel free to get back. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Saxena.
Mr. Rajiv, are there any duck products ready to eat type in the market?
So when we talk about ready-to-eat duck market, there are a few processed items which are available. Yes, like smoked duck breast that is available with. I mean that too also not in very too much of high variations. I mean, there are just limited brands that who do these things. Apart from that, I have not come across so many of these options. But yes, this is also one of a very big scope where these things can be done. I mean, like we have ample products of chicken and other poultry items that's available. Ducks can also come in. We can in fact do frozen duck confit that can come out, and we can do duck terrine that can be done and sold. These are a few classical things which used to be very popular. Some, like I said, I mean, decade and a half back. Then the modernization of cooking and cuisine and culture came in. But now slowly and gradually people and the eating habit are moving back towards those classical things. So I'm sure if these things are made available in market to the local customer, duck has that capability or capacity to, if not replace chicken, then definitely come stand next to it in terms of popularity and, otherwise. I think availability is also one of the primary thing that we should look at. We should look at the pace for make it available.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sanjay Babu Dasari, please.
Let me thank Mr. Sandeep Kumar Naik, MD NCDC, for giving me this opportunity to participate in this webinar on duck farming. My name is Sanjay Dasari. I've been working as a chef from past 22 years. Presently, I'm holding the post of Senior Sous Chef at the Ashok, New Delhi. Coming back to today's topic on duck farming, as my industry colleague, Chef Rajiv, has already highlighted, the industry's main problem or challenge, you can say, is to find consistent supply and of a quality duck meat. That has been the problem. If we can address that issue, bringing duck from farm to fork would be easier. And as he has already highlighted, quality certification, that's an important aspect where we expect like if we can implement good hygiene practices at the farming level, GHP is ensured. From there, we can get the quality product. And in between the certification, if it can be done, there's nothing like it. If we talk about which breed of duck would be more suitable for Indian palate, let's say, like we've already seen Dr. Sunil Giri's presentation, where he has highlighted several breeds like white Pekin, Muscovy, and all. In my opinion, white Pekin would be more suitable to Indian palate. Why? Because like Muscovy has got a very strong flavor, whereas white Pekin is very subtle in flavor. It can adapt to the addition of spices that we Indians love to do. We add more spices and herbs to infuse in our meat preparation. So white Pekin would suit the Indian palate. Also, there is one more reason, like white Pekin has got more fat content than a Muscovy breed duck, which tenderizes when we cook the white Pekin. It tenderizes, and we love our meats to be tender. This is one reason. Coming to duck eggs, they have already in this presentation we have seen and heard, the duck eggs have less moisture content and high fat content, which would help mostly in bakery recipes, improving bakery recipes by replacing chicken eggs with the duck eggs. This can be worked out. Also, we really want to bring out and highlight duck meat introduction into many hotels. To actively participate in a lot of events organized by chefs and culinary associations. I am a part of one of the culinary association, Indian Culinary Forum, North, ICF North it is called as. Similarly, there are several organizations throughout India, South Indian Culinary Association, Western Indian Culinary Association, Eastern Indian Culinary Association, a lot of associations, and these associations, they organize a lot of events wherein the chefs develop new recipes, they come up with new products, which are later introduced into the restaurants and the hotels. If, like for an example, I'll tell you, every year, Ahar is one of the biggest hospitality industry fair that is held every year. And during that event, during the Ahar event, alongside that, ICF North and Hospitality First jointly organize an event called Culinary Art India. Participation in such event would, like last year we had rice brand who sponsored the event. They came up with rice, and the chefs from different hotels, they came up with varieties of rice preparations, new recipes, introducing that rice. Similar concept, if we can have the duck farmers bringing up the duck, the product they have, chefs can then reproduce and come up with brilliant ideas. This way, it can actually start to come into the regular mainstream restaurants and the palate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. Now I'll request our moderator, Dr. V.K. Saxena. He has been answering the questions that are getting, but still he may dwell upon a couple of questions. Then we move on to summing up.
Thank you, sir. This is a unique combination where the planners, the scientists, and those who have to execute the plans, as well as the stakeholder or the end users, they are sitting together for the development of the strategy to take this duck forward. So congratulations to all of us who are joining this unique and novel initiative taken by NCDC. So I have noted down few of the questions people are very keen and asking regularly, and I answered few of them also. So one of our participant, he asked, even if duck has so many good qualities, why it is not being commercialized so far? So I take this opportunity to start with this question answer session with this question, that why duck has not become a commercial enterprise even after having so much of good qualities. So for that, some of the discussion has already clarified the matter, why duck are not becoming so popular. But for a, cursory remark, I'll request Dr. Sunil Giri, since he has been associated on R&D on duck at farm as well as in field also. So he can give a few of the, remarks on this question so that we can open up this discussion along with our other participants. Dr. Sunil Giri, please.
Okay, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
The thing is that duck production is not nothing new. It's very preliminary things, and the thing that chicken grows very fast in the industry. Chicken poultry, I have already seen the transformation of chicken. Simultaneously, management of duck is difficult in a. It is in the farms and the automatized farms, and nobody will enter. But chicken, due to its, that's why I have shown some slides due to its behavior. Like it cannot be kept in a cage. It needs water, and the fecal material is little more moisture, so they can keep always the floor moist and dirty. So that's why it needs little bit care and management. That is why it is till now it is continuing as a backyard sector. Sometimes it is integrated, but in case of other countries like China, and there is many dog population in China, Vietnam, and Indonesia. They have a lot of dog population, and they are also, but maximum there is organized farm for the white Pekin, but for the layer farms, they are still depending on this backyard sector. And if you want to continue as an enterprise here in this case, and to popularize dog, then we have to look upon 2-3 things. First of all, that the critical inputs like the improved or these valued chicks, ducklings should be available in every district. We have almost 700 KVKs. If all KVKs should develop, once upon a time, I just met in a meeting and addressing the 107 KVKs, and I just apprised about this polythene pond, and KVKs are interested to make a demonstration unit. They want to sensitize the farmer. They want to make training to the farmers. So, and simultaneously, without giving the critical inputs, training doesn't mean anything. That's why at the district level, at every state must have the parent line, because if somebody wants to start an hatchery, it's nothing but a machine. But where from he will get the egg? So he has to keep in a very scientific way of duck. Otherwise, from this backyard sector, if you collect these eggs, fertile eggs, their hatchability is very poor. So that you will ultimately, if 100 egg, you will set hardly 30-40 egg ducklings you will get. So we have to increase in that sector, and we need the commercial duck farms to popularize. For white Pekin, because they are the finishers and it is the market demands for the good quality meat. One thing is that the meat bone ratio in case of white Pekin is very less. That's why the meat is very juicy, and it is very popular, and it is costly also. Costly is what Rajiv has told. It is really, it is costly, and duck meat is also very good to eat and tasty, and so many products can be produced. So we have to think forward that to commercial poultry duck farm. How will commercially viable duck farm? And in case of duck, the maize is not an ingredient. It is not a safe ingredient for its feed composition. So we are searching last few years about this alternative source, and till now we are with the wheat, which is little bit costly. But rice, broken rice, and cassavas and other tuber crops can be incorporated in local feeds and cooking. Second thing that we have a lot of varieties breeds in like Chara, Chameli, Pati in Assam and Nageshwari, and we have the Kuji and so many varieties. We have to conserve our variety. We have to upgrade them with khaki or with white Pekin, so that a good quality duckling will be available, which can give some good growth, Simultaneously, FCR will be better, and we have to link the market also. And because it is quite a long variation, we find the cost of the document, where it has been sold in 3 rupees, 4 rupees, or it has been sold in West Bengal, it is 12 rupees. In Tripura, it is a high demand, and in so many other parts. But that is why the farmer is not getting due price for its produce. So we have to organize, we have to systematize, and we have to sensitize. We have to build the capacity of the people in training, and KVK should come forward. They should sensitize and they should bring trend, and NCDC, Government, Agriculture Ministry, and all state government should also look forward for this development, so that at least after 5 years, we'll see that the document will be repopularized and it will take its due market share in the meat chicken egg industry.
Thank you, Dr. Giri. I'll add a few things, whatever told by Dr. Giri. As far as good quality chicks are concerned, or for any poultry venture, the hatchery and the feed unit, they are the two basic requirement or the key requirement for successful, poultry venture. So as rightly said by Dr. Giri, that good quality germ plasm may be available at farmer's door, and the feed, compound feed or balanced feed is also available, then this can go successfully. But as far as good quality chick are to be produced, this is a problem because we don't have a nationwide program on genetic improvement. Duck genetic improvement has some hurdles also, as we see that like in chicken, we don't have artificial insemination so successful and commercially practiced as done in chicken. So until as we make this artificial insemination a success or a commercially viable technique, it will be rather difficult, because for any genetic improvement program, we have to maintain the pedigree. And for pedigree breeding, we need to have artificial insemination. Otherwise, the expenditure will be much more. So those things are the basic requisite for taking up this genetic improvement program, and gearing up the production of good quality germplasm. Second is the improvement of FCR, feed conversion ratio. As compared to chicken, feed conversion ratio is very high in case of duck. So until unless it is improved in chicken, it is a 1.6 kg feed converts into 1 kg of meat, whereas in duck it is nearly 3 or 3.5 or even 4 to convert into 1 kg meat. So this is the difference, big difference, and feed is the costliest commodity in poultry production system. So another question was coming is on vaccination. How about the vaccination, disease control, and all that people were asking. So my friend Ajit Yadav is there, I think, or anybody from health group is there who can just answer regarding vaccine availability and what are the vaccinations done in ducks primarily to just control the diseases. Anybody can.
I can just supplement, sir, that dog in every state there is a biological control, biological products, and where there is cattle vaccines and goat, sheep, all vaccines are available. But very few states have this ability to have this dog plague or dog hepatitis vaccine. That is why even in Odisha, we are also depending on Calcutta and sometimes to Chennai. So that should be available, because this is the department, line department should take the vaccination program in their areas. But vaccination and the cold chain to be maintained, taking vaccine from Calcutta and Chennai, it is very difficult, and the potency of the vaccine will not be maintained as desired. That's why vaccine production should be, for this, the laboratory should take this work, and they need to come within their program, so the dog vaccine, at least it will be available, dog plague vaccine, it will be available in the state level.
Any Dr. Ajit Singh Yadav is there, I think. Dr. A.S. Yadav from CRI. Is he there? Somebody asked about artificial avian influenza vaccine.
Dr. Saxena, I think we have to close because we have to move forward. We have already exceeded by 1 hour, 5 minutes. So I think you take the last question and then we'll close.
Vaccine, sir, I will like to just elaborate few things about artificial insemination because somebody has asked it. Artificial insemination, avian influenza, avian influenza, government has different policy. It's stumping out, you see, policy because there is a vaccine called DIVA technology, which is not available so far in India for this vaccination, avian influenza vaccination. That's why wherever this AI occurs, in 10-kilometer radius, then all the avian germplasm is being stumped out. So this is normally going on, but for others, Dr. Giri has also told. So other things have already been discussed at length. We have a regional center at ICA at Bhubaneswar, where we can get good quality germplasm. And you see, other management practices for meat type ducks has been clearly elaborated by Dr. Giri. And I'll request
Dr. Vishesh, for avian influenza, we have to go for the very strict biosecurity measures.
I am coming to that, sir. I was going to tell it because the biosecurity for all your management practices for disease control, biosecurity is very, very preliminary thing, and you see most important thing that all these you see measures to be looked into, and these are strict guideline available from Government of India. Time to time they have been revised also. They are available. So anything, sir, you want to add, Dr. Tripathi?
I was just telling about avian influenza. There is no vaccine available, and Government of India also does not allow for vaccination. Though poultry industry is now vaccinating far against low. These are off the record. But government says whenever there is avian influenza, it has to be slaughtered immediately. There is no other way out. Only point that I want to emphasize for farmers that they should not allow many visitors to see their farm. And there should be strict biosecurity measures. And even if they take anybody inside as a visitors and we want to see that, they must now take all precautions, having putting on shoe cap and all those things, and sterilization all should be there. That is the only way by which you can always secure your farm. And other birds which are coming at your farm, try to avoid in contact with those birds, because they are also source of infection, and especially when you have got avian influenza outbreak in neighboring states and neighboring districts. So in that case, you have to be still more stricter than ever before. So this I just wanted to share with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. In the end, I'll just give one more remark because it is just away from all this discussion that has been held up. One of our chef, Sanjay ji, told about use of duck eggs in bakery. So duck, egg, and meat have a specific fishy odor that is liked by many people and many people doesn't like it. So how to remove this fishy odor? There is a gene, FMO3, it is called as. Some genetic manipulation program have been going on in some part of the country. So to remove the fishy odor from this duck egg, so it can give a good remunerative proposition for using duck egg in in bakery. So with this, I thank everybody, and now I just hand over the platform to Sandeep Kumarji for further taking up the proceeding. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Saxena. Now, before I request Dr. Taidur Rahman to present a vote of thanks. I request Ms. Bandana Priyashi to sum up quickly the proceedings of the day.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. I really find this very useful as you have brought on one platform policymakers, scientists, entrepreneurs, consumers, and also all other stakeholders. So as I said in the beginning, I'm coming from a state where this potential is yet to be explored. And during this conversation, I realized the immense potential and the challenges that the duck farming sector has. I also learned about the commercial possibilities, that there's a huge demand for it, and the supply chain needs to be strengthened. I also got to know about the new initiatives of the government and also of the entrepreneurs. It was particularly मेरे लिए मंडल जी को सुनना बहुत ही अच्छा लगा, क्योंकि एक वेस्ट बंगाल से वो अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कर रहे थे, तो उनको सुनना बहुत अच्छा लगा. It was a very informative. Jacqueline's experience was very informative. Nivedita's presentation was very good. And of course the chef's point of view. So a chef is a high-end demand, but I know for sure कि हमारे बिहार में भी गांव में भी डक का बहुत ही उपयोग किया जाता है. तो इन ऑल आई थिंक ये लोगों का एक्सपीरियंस सुन के उनसे जानकारी लेके एक ये बात तो समझ में आ रही है कि it is an area which is yet to be explored. Its commercial possibilities have to be explored, and as a policy maker coming, I think such a seminar on something which was so unexplored in Bihar has been very useful for me. So I thank NCDC for organizing this. And I think it was an amazing experience for me. The scientists gave their views, the entrepreneurs gave their views, and I think it has actually laid a very a strong foundation for us to take off towards the duck farming area. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you to all participants.
Dr. Tehidur Rahman.
Yes. Namaskar. I am Dr. S.K. Tehidur Rahman from National Cooperative Development Corporation. On behalf of NCDC and on my personal behalf, I express deep gratitude to Ms. Nimcha Kibjenji, Honorable Minister of Cooperation and Animal Husbandry, Government of Manipur, and Sri Nagendranath Sinhaji, Secretary, Rural Development, Government of India, for kindly addressing this unique workshop. NCDC has organized this workshop in partnership with the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, the Indian Council for Agricultural Research, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India, the Government of Bihar, the Government of Goa, the Government of Kerala, and Government of Manipur. We thank our partners. I especially thank Dr. B.N. Tripathi ji, DDG Animal Sciences, ICAR, Sri C.R. Garg ji, Secretary Cooperation, Government of Goa, Ms. Bandana Payasi ji, Secretary Cooperation, Government of Bihar, Ms. Tinku Biswal ji, Secretary Animal Husbandry, Government of Kerala, Dr. V.K. Saxena, ADG ICAR, Dr. Sunil Giri ji, Principal Scientist, Central Avian Research Institute, ICAR, Bhubaneswar, Dr. Nivedita Nayak ji, Scientist, Central Coastal Agriculture Research Institute, ICAR, Goa. I thank Dr. Thomas Jacob ji, Assistant Director, Animal Husbandry Department, Government of Kerala. I thank entrepreneurs, Ms. Jacqueline Brettinger ji from Goa, and Sri Saddam Hussain Mandal ji and Sri Selim Akhtar ji from West Bengal. I thank Sri Rajiv Batsayan ji, Executive Sous-Chef from the Oberoi, New Delhi, and Sri Sanjay Babu Dasari ji, Senior Sous-Chef from the Ashok Hotel. I thank our Managing Director, Sri Sandeep Kumar Nayak ji, Sri Mukesh Kumar ji, Executive Director, Sri Nilesh Patil, and Ms. Diksha Mandavi. I am thankful to experts and officials from different organizations and to participants from different cooperatives and NRLM related bodies. Last but not the least, the MIS support team, the regional directors and their staff deserve a special thanks for making this workshop a success. Jai Hind. Thank you.